A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio. A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Harding, counter spy, calling Washington.
United States counter spies, especially appointed to investigate and combat the enemies of our country, both at home and abroad.
These counter spy reports to the American people are brought to you each week at this time. Now, the case of the invisible insurrectionist.
Maria, the baby is crying again.
She does not sleep. And the doctor says it is sleep that she needs.
I know, Maria.
It is no good for her here in the city of New York. It is no good here for all of us, Juan. We should go back to Puerto Rico.
We will go back soon, Maria. Now, please try to make her stop. Please, my Maria.
See, I will try.
Salinas, my friend, come in.
Bernard, I came as soon as I could. On the telephone, you sounded troubled. What is it?
Salinas, we have been cheated.
Cheated? I do not understand.
The man who promised to give us jobs in the mill in New Jersey.
You do not mean Mr. Franklin?
See, Mr. Franklin, the man to whom we all gave $50. The man who promised us jobs for that money. The man with whom we signed that contract. Salinas, he is a cheat, this Mr. Franklin.
Menard, how do you know this?
I have been there today in New Jersey.
You went to the mill?
Mill? There is no mill, my friend. It is all untrue.
No mill? No job? My $50 gone?
Yours and mine and all our friends who have come here from Puerto Rico for work. We must go to the police, Salinas.
No.
But this man, Franklin, must be punished.
First, we will go to this man, Franklin. I know where his office is. We will get what is rightfully ours in our own way.
That's quite an interesting story Menard has just told us, huh, Louis?
Sure is, Mr. Franklin.
You have cheated us all. Me, Salinas, and the others who have come here from Puerto Rico. I want my money back, Mr. Franklin.
So you want your money back, Menard. And you, Salinas? You don't feel the same way about it, huh, Salinas?
See, he does. Tell him, Salinas.
No harm will come to Menard. You promised, Mr. Franklin.
Salinas.
You were smart to bring him here, Salinas.
I do not understand.
You promise you will not harm Menard.
Mr. Franklin always keeps his word.
That's correct, Louis. I'll just see that Menard gets back to Puerto Rico. With what he knows now, it'd be unwise to allow him to remain here.
Salinas, you are this man's accomplice. You have helped him steal from me and your other friends.
It had to be done, Menard.
To take money from people who have so little.
No, it was not for the money. I am not a thief. It was for the good of our nation, Puerto Rico.
Our nation, Puerto Rico?
See, for its liberation. We must throw off the yoke of United States tyranny.
Then you are with the nationalists. They have made you betray your friends.
Oh, no, the cause. You do not understand, Menard.
I understand. You have been deceived by the real enemies of freedom. It is they who would impose tyranny upon us. Salinas, listen before it is too late.
Salinas understands that all sacrifices must be made for the good of the cause. Is that not correct, Salinas?
Yes.
That'll be all, Salinas. You may leave.
I cannot believe this, Salinas. All our lives we were such friends.
Louis Menard is shocked. Suppose you give him some shock treatment.
Sure, Mr. Franklin.
What now, Mr. Franklin? We'll take him down the back way and load him into the car.
Okay.
And Louis,
Yeah, Mr. Franklin?
bring your gun with you. You'll need it.
Counter-Spy headquarters, Mr. Harding's office.
Braden, this is Harry Peters, phoning from Counter-Spy Patrol Boat 41. I just received word that Mr. Harding's been trying to contact me.
Yes, Mr. Harding left hurriedly for a conference at the State Department with Mr. Jordan of the Puerto Rican Affairs Division. He instructed that you meet him in his car outside the State Department building at 11. The conference will be over by then. Mr. Harding said it was an urgent matter.
Got it, Braden. I'll be there.
All right, Adams. First stop, my house.
What's this time, Chief?
Here, Peters. Read this bulletin. Came in early this morning from our New York field office.
How does this concern us?
Well, Juan Menard, the man who was found shot to death, is one of an undetermined number of Puerto Ricans who were taken in by a job placement racket.
Only the jobs didn't exist, is that it?
That's it. After my talk with the Puerto Rican Affairs Division, I'm convinced that the racket is more political than financial.
You mean in view of what's been happening in Puerto Rico?
Yes, Peter. We've come across all types of sabotage, espionage, enemy propaganda. This is probably the most subtle plan ever conceived of creating anti-United States feeling among Puerto Ricans.
Chief, you mean these people come here from Puerto Rico with the promise of work? They're defrauded, then they go back to Puerto Rico with stories of how they were taken over by some Yankee swindler.
Yes, that's right. And Juan Menard's murder could be the strongest propaganda point of all. You can understand now, it's not just another murder case. It has overtones of insurrection attached to it. We've got a big job ahead of us.
Anything specific to go on, Mr. Harding?
Only a vague description of two men connected with the job placement racket.
Okay, Chief, when do I pack?
Now, you've got just enough time to stick a toothbrush in your pocket. We're flying to New York within half an hour.
Yes? Can I do something for you?
We're looking for Mrs. Juan Menard. I'm David Harding of the Counter-Spies. This is Agent Harry Peters.
Oh, I'm Mrs. Gladys Milford. Won't you gentlemen come in?
Sure.
Mrs. Menard is out to have a drug prescription filled. It's for the youngest of the children, the baby. I take it you're here concerning her husband.
Yes, that's right. Are you a friend?
I suppose so, in a sense. I'm with the Welfare League. We give family counseling and aid in such neighborhoods as this.
Mm-hmm.
You've known the Menards for long, Mrs. Milford?
Since they arrived here several months ago, I've arranged for the two older children to go to day nursery. At the moment, I'm looking after the infant in the next room.
I see. Well, is there anything you could tell us about Juan Menard?
I knew little about Mr. Menard. We met only once. This has been a terrible blow to his wife.
Yes.
We're doing everything for her we possibly can.
Did the baby cry, Mrs. Oh,
Maria, these men are from the Counter-Spies.
Counter-Spies?
They want to ask you questions about your husband.
About my Juan?
My name is Harding. This is Mr. Peters. We won't stay long, Mrs. Menard.
Just a few questions, and then we'll leave.
Why did they kill my Juan? He was a good man. He did not hurt anybody.
Well, Mrs. Menard, do you remember your husband ever mentioning the name of the man to whom he gave money for a job?
He did not tell me the name of this man. Oh, the baby, I must go to
I'll take care of her, Maria. Give me the medicine.
See?
Now, you do what you can to help Mr. Harding.
Oh, gracias, Mrs. Milford. Gracias.
Now, Mrs. Menard, who were the other men who gave money to this person?
Please, I do not want to talk about it. Juan is dead. You cannot bring him back.
No, Mrs. Menard. But we can bring his murderer to justice.
Justice? There is no justice in this place. We should have never come. My Juan would still be alive.
Mrs. Menard, your husband was sacrificed to an evil political cause.
I do not know about politics. I only know that we came here and my husband was killed. I only know that it is bad here, that the people here are bad, that we cannot...
Mrs. Menard, listen to me. That's exactly what certain people want all Puerto Ricans to believe. Now, if we don't find your husband's murderer, if you don't help us, there'll be other murders. More than that, there'll be possibly a great deal of bloodshed in your homeland. Now, you wouldn't want other wives and other families to suffer as you have, needlessly. Would you?
Would you, Mrs. Menard?
No. No, I would not want that.
Then who were the other men who gave money for John's?
Well, when Pedro Salinas told them about it, they all gave.
Pedro Salinas?
See, Salinas and Juan have been friends for many years.
Where can we get in touch with Salinas?
I do not know where he lives. He was here with Juan the night...
He left the house with Juan that night, Miss Menard?
See.
And you don't know where we can find Salinas?
Oh, the girl he has, Lola, maybe she knows.
You have her address?
Oh, no, but she works at a restaurant on 110th Street. It's called El Toro.
I see.
You will find the one who killed my Juan.
We're going to try, Mrs. Menard. And we'll start looking with Pedro Salinas' girlfriend, Lola.
So your count is 5. So what?
So we'd like to ask you a few questions, Lola.
Huh? About what?
Your friend, Pedro Salinas.
Where is he?
I don't know where he is.
Or where does he live? That is, when you do know where he is.
He never told me.
Never told you, hmm? Funny kind of a boyfriend?
Yeah. Funny kind.
When did you see him last?
Last week.
Where?
What's the difference?
Now, don't make it rough, girlie. It's better answering questions here than in a jail cell.
My place. Okay.
Which is where?
106th Street, 785 East. One flight up, not twice.
You didn't see him after that? Or hear from him?
No phone calls, letters, postcards, anything?
Sure you haven't heard from him since Juan Bernard was found in that alley, shot to death.
Who's Juan Menard?
As if you didn't know,
You two act like I'm a book of knowledge or something. Look, you got any more questions? I make my living here. The boss will get sore if he sees me wasting any more time.
No more questions, Lola. Just a word of advice.
Like what?
Stay here in town where we can get in touch with you.
I ain't going anyplace.
All right, come on, Peter.
Lola's a Lulu of a liar, Mr. Harding.
You're telling me.
Could have taken her in for questioning.
We may do better this way.
Which way?
When we get out to the patrol car, radio the field office to have a stakeout put on Lola's apartment. I think that may offer us the shortest distance between us and Pedro Salinas.
Hello.
Mr. Franklin, this is Pedro Salinas.
Salinas, where have you been? Why haven't you called me since the other night?
I have been hiding. After what happened to Juan Menard, I was afraid.
I'll explain that later. I want you to bring me the contract, the one you've been persuading your friends to sign. You still have it, don't you?
Yes.
All right, bring it to me. And not at the office here. I'll be at the warehouse near Mott Street. You know where. Get there as soon as you can. I'll be waiting for you. All right, Salinas. I'll take that contract now.
Mr. Franklin, you promised that no harm would come to Juan Menard. He was my friend.
What has become of your feelings for the cause? That should be far above personal consideration, Salinas.
You promised me.
It couldn't be helped. He made things difficult for Lewis. Isn't that correct, Lewis?
That's right, Mr. Franklin.
You lied to me, both of you. You wanted one dead.
You're trying my patience, Salinas. Give me the paper with the signatures.
Do like Mr. Franklin says.
I do not have them.
What?
I did not bring them with me.
Where are they, Salinas?
I will not tell.
Lewis.
Okay. My arm.
I'll break it off. The paper, Salinas.
No. I will not tell. I will.
Come on.
Stop. Please, stop.
the paper.
Oh. It's in the house of Juan Menard. Oh.
He's out on his feet.
Now, Louis, we'll visit Mrs. Menard. We'll leave Salinas here.
That way, Mr. Franklin?
No, Louis, not that way. This way.
You are listening to the case of the invisible insurrectionist on Counter Spy. Tonight there's another broadcast of NBC's Sunday evening extravaganza, The Big Show. Tallulah Bankhead will preside as usual, and tonight's stars are Bob Hope, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, Louis Armstrong, Rosalind Russell, Dorothy McGuire, Frankie Lane, and Meredith Wilson with his orchestra and chorus. And Sunday over most of these NBC stations also means another visit with the mischievous Harris family. Frankie, Julius, and all their friends on the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. The chimes are your invitation every Sunday to the Big Show and the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. Now, back to Counter Spy.
New York Counter Spy Field Office, Harding speaking. Yes, I certainly do. Go ahead. Yes, I have that. Well, thank you very much. Yes, of course, I'll let you know what happens. Goodbye. Peters, order a car to be ready for us out front immediately.
What's up, Chief?
That was Lola. Salinas told her to call us in case of trouble.
Does she know where we can locate Salinas?
Yes, Peters, if we're not too late.
Maria, you must try to rest.
Oh, you are very kind, Mrs. Milford. There are some people here in the city of New York who are so good, like you, and some who are so bad.
Were you expecting anyone?
No, I didn't.
Now, you stay right where you are. I'll see who it is. Yes?
Back inside, lady, and not a peep out of you.
Who are you?
Close the door, Louis.
What is the
Shut
meaning?
your mouth, lady, and no one gets hurt.
Mrs. Milford, who are these men? What do they want?
I don't know, Maria.
It's all very simple, ladies. Juan Menard had in his possession a paper. I want that paper, Mrs. Menard.
I do not understand.
The work contract.
Contract? I do not know what you mean.
Well, perhaps you don't. Louis, commence searching.
Okay.
This is unlawful.
Isn't it?
You can't expect to get away with a thing like this.
But I intend to, madam. Really. Any luck, Louis?
No, not yet.
Be seated, ladies. Please. Thank you. I'll just wander around myself and help Louis. There's not much of a view from this window, is there? Or is there? Come on, Louis.
Come on. What about the paper?
The car just pulled up downstairs. Two men got out and entered this building, and they certainly don't look like tenants.
Maybe cops.
We'll take no chance in finding out. Let's go. I warn you, ladies, stay right where you are.
Come on. Let's get going.
They're coming up to this floor.
We're trapped.
No, we can get up to the roof. Come on.
Stop! Stop, you two! Stop or we fire!
Coppers, Mr. Franklin. Now, this'll slow them up. My arm.
Keep going, Louis. Almost there. Keep going, Louis. We'll make it. We'll make it.
Well, they made it, Mr. Harding. They got away over the roof.
Well, their luck won't hold out, Peters. We'll get them.
Plenty of bloodstains on the stairs leading to the roof. One of them said he'll have to get to a doctor sometime. Everything all right here in the Menard apartment?
No damage. Just woke up the baby. Mrs. Milford's inside helping Mrs. Menard.
Did your men catch them, Mr. Harding?
No, Mrs. Milford.
This has been terribly upsetting for Maria.
Yes, that poor woman's had plenty of trouble.
They said they wanted a paper, a contract of some kind.
Yes, we knew that from Pedro Salinas.
You found Salinas?
Just a few moments before he died in a warehouse. He was shot by a man named Franklin. There was also another man called Lewis.
Salinas told us to get here fast.
Well, did those two find the paper?
I don't think so.
Good. All right, Peters, you get started on that other matter while I take up where those two left off.
Peters and car C1 1 to Harding, New York Counter Spy Field Office. Peters to Harding.
Harding, go ahead, Peters.
Chief, I checked on Franklin at the address Salinas gave us.
And?
It was an office, but right now it's just an empty space. Whoever was there pulled out like a fast freight.
Did you get any leads from anybody in the building?
It was strictly a dead end, Chief. No one knows the man called Franklin or his helper, Lewis.
All right, Peter. You may as well come back here to the field office.
You had no luck either,
I fared much better.
You mean you found that contract in the Menard apartment?
Yes. I sent the paper down to the lab for analysis. By the time you get back here, we should have a report on it.
I gotta get out of here, Mr. Franklin.
Easy, Lewis. We'd be picked up in a minute if we left here.
I gotta get to a doctor. My whole arm now is burning like it was on fire.
You mustn't complain. We were lucky to find this empty barge to hide in.
I can't stand it. Honest.
You'll survive, I'm sure.
Yeah. You can talk. You ain't got a slug in you. I don't want to die. If I stay here, I'll die.
Believe me, I sympathize with you, but you have the counter spies to thank for your pain, not me.
I'm getting to a doctor.
Wait a minute.
Let go.
Are you crazy? You'll be caught.
I'm giving up. I'll wind up in one piece that way.
Get back down.
Oh, my arm.
You're not giving up. I'm not letting you.
That gun ain't going to help you, Franklin. You fire one shot, and coppers will be swarming all over this barn.
I'm not going to use it for firing, Lewis. I'm going to use the butt end for another purpose. This.
Here's the lab report on that paper, Mr. Harding. I was on the way in when Parker handed it to me.
Did you look it over, Peter?
Quickly. It's an expensive type bomb. And here's a list of retailers in the city who handle it.
That's quite a long list.
Mm-hmm. Should I assign squads to start investigation?
Yes, right away.
Okay, we'll do.
And Peters... Oh, wait, just a minute.
Agent Braden to Harding. Braden to Harding.
Come in, Braden.
The body of a man who'd been shot in the right arm was found a few minutes ago by one of our harbor patrols.
Hey, go ahead, Braden.
It was found in an empty barge. Report indicates death was due to severe blows at the base of the head. Identification in clothing shows him to be Lewis Troy.
All right, Braden. Thank you.
The man called Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chief, that leaves one to go. Franklin.
Yes. Well, I'll get to work on that list of paper dealers. We'll see where that leads us.
Hello. This is Franklin. I have to see you tonight. Please. I'll need money. I'd better leave the country. All right, then. The swamp over in New Jersey. All right. I'll be there at 10 tonight. So late. I thought you weren't coming.
I was unavoidably detained, Franklin.
You brought the money for me, Mrs. Milford?
I brought exactly what you need. Franklin, you fumbled badly.
You ordered me to get rid of Juan Menard. That was your idea.
It wasn't my idea that his body should be found.
That was Louis' fault.
It was your fault for choosing such an inefficient lieutenant. Was it Lewis's fault that you permitted that contract to get out of your hands so that you had to come to the Menard apartment while I was there?
How did I know you were there? I had to act quickly.
So quickly you were almost caught by Harding. Franklin, your stupidity has put the entire cause in jeopardy. I and the others worked for months, years, to gain a solid foothold in Puerto Rico, where we could threaten the snug bourgeois safety of the United States.
But I tell you...
Be quiet. It took me years to place myself in a position in New York where I could help with the eventual overthrow of the capitalistic enemy. And you almost spoiled everything.
You haven't been exposed, Mrs. Milford. You can still operate safely.
Through no help of yours. You put our schedule for the crew in Puerto Rico at least 6 months behind.
We've waited so long, we can wait that much longer.
Perhaps we can, Franklin. But you can't.
Oh, What do you mean by that?
You can no longer be trusted.
Now, wait.
I have been put in charge of this phase of our work. And it is my opinion that for the good of the cause, you should be liquidated. Don't move. As they say, Franklin, he who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. Or in this case, the gun.
You wouldn't dare.
As a matter of fact, Franklin, this is the only course I dare take now.
Oh, wait, please.
This meeting place you chose makes it very convenient for me.
And for me, too, Mrs. Milford.
Harding.
Drop that gun.
Stand where you are, Franklin.
I'm not moving.
How did you get here?
Simple. We followed you, Mrs. Milford.
Followed me.
Through that contract paper. We thought the tracing of that type paper would lead us to Franklin, but it led us straight to your phony charity front. And on the way out in the car, my agents radioed me that they found some very interesting case histories in your files, with names and addresses of people here and in Puerto Rico involved in this plot.
Had a nice setup, didn't you, Mrs. Milford? Passing yourself off as a welfare worker in a Puerto Rican district in New York.
You were a welfare worker, all right. The welfare of the enemies of this country in Puerto Rico. Take them away, Peters. It gives me great pleasure to introduce a statement to Counter Spy from the man who probably knows as much as anyone in the United States about the Puerto Rican people and their welfare problems here. The Honorable Raymond M. Hilliard, Commissioner of Welfare, City of New York. Here is Commissioner Hilliard's statement.
Today's Counter Spy story has its basis in actual fact. I can well believe that many Puerto Ricans living here have been the victims of cruel and crooked exploitation. And I am convinced that communist saboteurs have deliberately stirred up trouble and have tried to wreck the unity of the citizens of this city and of the nation. I know that there was a time when communists had achieved a strong hold among those engaged in welfare work in this city. But it has been my task during the past 2.5 years to break their power, to throw out the communists, and to return welfare work to its proper place as an instrument of lawful government. We have found the Puerto Rican residents of New York City a decent and friendly people who hold that this government is their government. We are proud of them, and we know that they will not be deceived by those who would try to destroy us.
Thank you, Commissioner Hilliard.
Tune in every week, same time, same station, to Counter Spy. Listen next week for the exciting Case of the Pretty Plant.
A gracious guest brings her hospitable hostess a most unusual gift, and your counter spies are started on their way to the breaking up of an international spy ring. How a drugstore led to the disaster when treason had the fragrance of hyacinth will be revealed for the first time next week in
Case of the Pretty Plant on Counter Spy. Tonight's Counter Spy program, originated in New York, was directed by Marks B. Loeb, dramatized by Edward J. Adamson, and featured Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer. Lionel Rico speaking. Counter Spy is a Phillips H. Lord production. Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Want to know who's on the big show tonight? Bob Hope, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, Rosalind Russell, Frankie Lane, Dorothy McGuire, Louis Armstrong, Meredith Wilson, and the glamorous and predictable Tallulah. No wonder it's the big show. And Sunday evening also means another outstanding production by Theater Guild on the Air. Tonight, it's Boomerang starring Kirk Douglas. Join Tallulah and her wonderful guests on the big show, later on NBC.
For the next hour and 30 minutes, this program will present in person such bright stars as...
Louis Armstrong.
Bob Hope.
Deborah Carr.
Frankie Lane.
Jerry Lewis.
Dean Martin.
Dorothy McGuire.
Jimmy Wallington. Meredith Wilson.
And my name, darlings, is Tallulah Bankhead.
National Broadcasting Company presents The Big Show.
America, the curtain of America.
Big Show. 90 minutes with the most scintillating personalities in the entertainment world. Brought to you this Sunday and every Sunday at the same time as the Sunday feature of NBC's All-Star Festival. And here is your hostess, the glamorous, unpredictable Tallulah Bankhead.
Well, darlings, here we are with the big show this week in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, the city of the angels. Or is it Los Angeles, the city of the angles? Well, to be safe, I'll call it L.A. Lousy with X's. How did a whiff get in there? And what a plane trip from New York, darlings. We worried all the way. When we left New York, we were worried about the weather because all we could see was rain. When we got to Chicago, we worried because all we could see was snow. But when we got to lovely California, we stopped worrying because we couldn't see the weather at all. Smog, you know.
Of course, you know what smog is, don't you?
Well, Bob Hope.
Smog is nature's protection against the glare of Crosby's shirts. Or, smog is the stuff they invented to protect the oranges from the smudge spots. Or...
Just a moment, darling. La Brea Tar Pits, Madman Months, Mulholland Drive, Wilshire Bus, and Hollywood and Vine.
What's all that, darling?
I just wanted to get all your local jokes out of the way so we couldn't clutter up the rest of the big show.
Well, you left out Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga.
We don't mention them on this network.
Oh, I see. You mean on account of J.B.?
That's exactly what I mean, darling.
Well, what have you got against Joan Blondell?
I am not referring to Joan Blondell. It just happens to be a name I'd rather not mention on the show. Now, Bob, what have you been doing lately?
J.B., a name you can't mention on this show. Oh, I know. Isn't that stupid? I mean, of course, Jetty Davis.
No. Boar.
Oh, Jack Boar, of course. Look, Tallulah, I'll tell you why I came over here, besides grabbing a little loot. I want you to do a guest shot on my radio show.
Oh, darling, do you have a radio show of your own? Who's the mistress of ceremonies on your show?
Nobody. Who's the mistress of ceremonies on your show? Don't tell me you haven't heard my show back east every Tuesday at 9 o'clock.
I never get up that early, darling.
No, honey, you're thinking of just plain Bing. I'm on Tuesday night from 9 to 9:30.
Oh, only half an hour. Oh, Bob, I'm terribly sorry, darling. What do you do with the other hour?
We wait for the laughs to come in. Look, let me set you straight in this radio racket. All comedy shows are a half hour.
I beg your pardon. My show's an hour and a half.
I beg your pardon. It only seems that long. How about it, Tallulah? Will you come on with me next Tuesday night? We rehearse the script Monday morning, and we rehearse with the orchestra Monday night, and we have a complete dress rehearsal Tuesday afternoon. We go on the air with the show Tuesday night.
Oh, that fits in perfectly with my plans. I'll be there at rehearsals Monday morning, and with the orchestra Monday night, and at the dress rehearsal Tuesday afternoon. I just won't be able to make the show Tuesday night, darling. Will that be all right, Bob?
Oh, that sounds reasonable. Of course, if you can't be on the show, I'll only pay you half the salary.
Oh, I don't think that's fair. After all, I am coming to 3 rehearsals, and just because I miss one show, which only takes a half an hour.
Skip it, kid. Skip it. For the money I'm paying you, I can get Jetty Davis not to come on the show.
But, darling, it's not my fault. You would have to pick a Tuesday this week. I'm free Monday and Wednesday. How did you happen to pick Tuesday right in the middle?
Oh, just lucky, I guess. Look, Look, Alabama, let's level here. Are you coming on the show Tuesday or not?
But, Bob, if I'm going on your show, what do you want me to do on it?
Well, you do what all my guests do.
But I never had 4 sons.
Well, what can you do? Wait a minute. No, that's not supposed to tie in, you know. I promised him I wouldn't read it that way. I didn't do it, honest.
Control yourself.
Well, what can you do?
I sing.
It's just as funny the second time. Let's go, Tulu. They're giving us the finger. Go ahead. What? I mean the wind-up. You know, the thing.
But of course, I'll have to bring my own accompanist.
What'd you say?
I said, of course, I'll have to.
I haven't got that. Where's that? Oh, okay, who is he?
Well, he just happens to be Meredith Wilson and his 47-piece orchestra and chorus. I can't sing unless they accompany me.
Oh, you have a special orchestra that plays flat?
They do not. Now, you listen to Meredith Wilson and his Big Show orchestra and chorus in a brilliant rhythmic arrangement of Orange-Colored Sky.
Walking along, minding my business, when out of an orange-colored sky, crash, bam, alakazam, wonderful you came by. I was walking along, drinking in sunshine, when out of an orange-colored view, crash, bam, alakazam, I gotta look at you. One look and I yell timber. Watch out for flying glass. Then the sea fell into my pond. I went into a spin and I turned to shot. I've been hit. This is it. This is it. I was walking along, minding my business, when love came and hit me in the eye. Crash! Alakazam, out of an orange-colored sky. And I yelled, timber! Look out for flying glass. Then the sea fell into the bottom. I went into a spin and I started to shout. I've been hit. This is it. This is it. I see it. I was walking down the street. The birds were singing kind of sweet. I didn't have a single care. My heart was freer than the air. And then a flash. Bam! Alakazam. Out of an orange-colored purple sky. Pretty green polka dotted sky. Flash, bam, alakazam, and goodbye.
Well, Bob, that's the accompaniment I want to use when I sing on your program. You see, Meredith keeps me on key.
Baby, your voice should be kept under lock and key.
What's the matter, Miss Bankhead? Didn't you like my number?
What's your problem, Meredith Wilson?
I said, didn't you like my orchestra number, Miss Bankhead?
Of course, darling. Now, look here, Bob. If you're implying that my voice is bad...
Now, wait a minute. I'm no music critic. Don't start sending me any letters. Personally, I'd rather write than be president.
Well, Miss Bankhead... Wait, this is creeping up. Wait a minute. No. I wanted to say to Miss Bankhead, when I finish my number, you usually say that was delightful, Meredith, or charming.
That was delightful, Meredith, or charming. Bob, if you want me on your show, I'm going to sing. And the song will be, give my regards to Broadway, remember me to Herald Square, tell all the gang on 42nd Street that I will soon be there.
Hey, Rivet Voice, you're tearing up 42nd Street. I could have played Give My Regards to Broadway if you'd asked me to, Miss Bankhead. I have it in all the keys you sing it in. That's A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. When she just sang it, it sounded more like H.
Don't pay any attention to him, Meredith. Don't pay any attention to him, darling.
How can I? I haven't even met him.
Oh! I beg your pardon. Meredith, darling, this is Bob Hope. Bob, this is Meredith Wilson, darling.
Glad to know you, darling. See, Mr. Hope. Mr. Hope, this is really a happy moment. For whom? I've always been one of your greatest admirers, Mr. Hope. I used to see all your pictures back in Mason City. I was born there, you know. That's my hometown, Mason City, Iowa.
Meredith, you are not going to tell one of those repugnant stories about that obscure little hamlet of yours, are you?
Oh, glad you asked me. Well, sir, Miss Bankhead, I used to see every one of Mr. Hope's pictures back in Mason City, Iowa. Well, I remember going to the movie one night and I had to take standing room.
I know, boy. My pictures sell out all over.
No, it wasn't that. I had a sacroiliac. Had to stand up. Doc Frisbee, he's the druggist there. And,
you think he can help that?
I went there to the druggist, but he's closed up, so I went to the bicycle shop, and they taped me up with that black tape they put on bicycle handles.
Well, they tape up seats with that stuff, too.
Yeah, that's what they did. Well, sir, I stood up all through that picture, laughing and scratching.
Look, Itchy, how much more is there to this nauseating little bear?
Well, that's about all there is, except that when they took that tape off, wow, I've still got the scars. Would you like to see him, Mr. Hope?
No. I'll wait till they come to my neighborhood movie.
Meredith, if you're quite finished with that black...
Hey, look at the size of that orchestra. Hi, fellas.
Hey, it's still there.
Hey, go right on, fellas. Don't let me stop the show. I'm just cutting across to my studio.
Hey, what a musical aggravation.
Every musician I ever fired is in that orchestra. Look at that violin section. Who's got the rosin concession there?
Mr. Harris, I don't know how you managed to stagger into the studio, but if you don't crawl off before I count to 1, which I understand is as high as you can count, I will have you forcibly ejected.
Ejected? Well, push, pull, and click. Hey, Bob. Huh? Hey, Robert, what are you doing on this program?
Mostly straight lines.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Robert, who's the bass tomato?
Well, this tomato's going to be a surprise. It's Tallulah Bankhead.
That's Tallulah Bankhead?
Yeah, that's what you like about the South.
Well, corn my pone if it ain't a lotsman.
And what carpet bag did you creep out of, Mr. Harris?
Baby, don't fight me. I'm filthy.
I don't care what state your clothes are in.
That thing you're wearing could stand a retread, too, girl.
Well, the war between two states. You notice how cleverly they set this thing up so that every time I'm about to sit down, I have a line to speak? I have one to speak, yes, I do. Luckily... Luckily, my bicycle seat is taped, and I can't sit down anyway.
Hey, Meredith, I didn't see you.
Hi, Phil.
Well, old Meredith, you still playing that long hair stuff?
Yep. You still playing that curly hair stuff?
Sharp as a marble. By the way, Meredith, we were talking about you at the Musicians Union the other night, and some of the boys think that you're kind of eccentric. They heard through the Hollywood and grapevine that you read music. Now, I'm a committee of one to find out, are you now or have you ever been a reader of music?
Well, yeah, I read music. Don't you?
Oh, once in a while when I'm sitting under the dryer. But it's the same old story, Meredith. Do, la, sol, fa, mi, re, no action. That kind of stuff went out with the 3 Bs, Bach, Beethoven, and Benny.
How dare you, Mr. Harris?
What do you got against Benny Goodman? He's the king. I might even say he's the thing.
He's the what?
Hey, don't tell me you ain't heard of the thing. Hey, local, this girl don't know about the thing. They know what it is. Well, I gotta go, kids. Hey, Robert, how about you and the missus and me and Alice stepping out tonight after the show?
Oh, sure, Phil. By the way, how is Alice?
Just left her a couple of minutes ago. She was in the pink.
Well, have her slip into some clothes and we'll go out.
Oh, Robert, gee, I wish I'd have said that. I could use that on my show today.
You will.
Bob, what was that thing?
It's not that thing, it's the thing. It's a piece of music that can only be written by a guy who can't read music.
Meredith, have you heard of this thing, the thing?
Oh, sure. It's one of those tunes that don't make any sense. You have to have them every once in a while. Like, I remember back in Mason City, Iowa.
Oh, dear. Meredith, we're not going on tour through that one-night stand again.
Oh, I was just talking about things like the thing. Like we used to have. You remember Yes, We Have No Bananas?
That was before my time, darling.
Your time was before bananas. I know everybody used to sing that song. I knew it so well that I could sing it backwards.
That should be very interesting.
Oh, it is. It goes, today bananas no have we, bananas no have we. Yes.
And that's the thing.
Oh, no, the thing came later. First we had this.
Yes, we had no bananas. We had no bananas today. Between beans and onions, cabbages and shallots and all kinds of fruit. And say we have an old-fashioned tomato. Long Island potato. We have no bananas today.
And then we had another one. This was really the thing, called Three Little Fishes.
Down in the meadow in the itsy-bitsy pool, we with the fishies and the mama fishy too. When get the mama fishy swim if they can, and they swim all over the dam. Boop, boop, little down one. Shoo! Boop, boop, little down one. Shoo! Boop, boop, little down one. Shoo! And they swim all over the dam.
And then came the Hudson song.
Hudson. Hudson Rawson. Hudson Rawson. Hudson Rawson on the railroad and the broad through. Hudson Rawson on the railroad and the broad through it.
But what about the thing?
Well, we got that, too. Here, be my guest, Miss Bankhead. Here's a copy of the music. Just read that lyric.
While I was walking down the beach one bright and sunny day, I saw a great big wooden box was floating in the bay. I pulled it in and opened it up, and much to my surprise, I discovered Earth right before my eyes.
Oh, I discovered it right before my eyes. I turned around and got right out of running for my life. And then I took it home with me to give it to my wife. Now this is what she hollered at me as I walked in the door.
Oh, get out of here with it, and don't come back no more.
Oh, get out of here with it, and don't come back no more. The moral of the story is that you're out on the beach, and you should see a great big box and it's within your reach. Don't ever stop to open it up, that's my advice to you, because you'll never get rid of it, no matter what you do. Oh, you'll never get rid of it, no matter what you do.
Does that answer your question, Miss Bankhead?
Well, darling, I can't say very much for the melody, but I must admit the lyric was quite dull.
You know what I like, Meredith? That hot horn in your band. He plays a lot of trumpet.
Why, that's Louis Armstrong. Louis, darling, what are you doing in the orchestra? Come over here.
Hello, Tallulah.
Louis, how are you? Oh, I want you to meet Bob Hope.
Oh, I know this cat, man. He's gone.
You said it, Louis. I've been gone for about 8 pages now. Tell me, L.A., you playing that trumpet around L.A.?
No, B.H. I've been up in L.A.V.
Oh, Las Vegas, huh?
Yeah, man.
Well, how'd you make up there at L.V., L.A.?
Okay. Where'd you up there, B.H.? How'd you make out?
P.U.
What happened, B.H.?
The roulette wheel. I went for a G. You see, L.A.?
Oh, yeah.
Are you gentlemen making your initial appearance on radio? Louis, I was hoping you'd mention that article I wrote about you for Flair magazine. Did you see it?
Oh, I did, Tallulah. I thought it was very...
Louis, we went over that word 100 times. I told you it was erudite.
Yeah, oh, I think that's the word.
Thanks, Louis. It's sweet of you to say that. Bob? Did you read the article I wrote on Louis Armstrong?
Yes, and I thought it was Erwick.
Yeah, that's the word,
You're just joking, I know. Oh, Louis, you are my favorite musician.
Thank you, Tallulah.
And Bob, you're my favorite comedian.
Thanks, Tallulah.
Well... Hasn't one of you gallant gentlemen anything to add?
Oh, sure. May I return the compliment to Lou and say that Louis is my favorite musician?
Thanks, Bob, and you're my favorite comedian, too.
Boys, shall we go around once more?
Oh, sure. Toulouse, I'm your favorite comedian.
And I'm your favorite musician.
This is fun. Let's play it again. This time for money.
If anybody's going to play anything, Louis is going to play his fabulous trumpet. How about it, Louis?
That's what I came here for.
Ladies and gentlemen, a real treat. Louis Armstrong with Meredith Wilson's orchestra in Phil Moore's brilliant arrangement of a song I know you all want to hear, Ain't Misbehaving.
No one to talk with, all by myself. No one to walk with, all by the own shelf. Misbehaving, save my life. Oh, baby, did be those bang. Now for certain, the one to love, irritating you that I'm thinking of. Misbehaving, Oh, baby, like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, and I don't care. All your children went with him first. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't get a go. All my body needs me everything.
was a great ever, Satchmo. Louis, you know what my ambition is? I want somebody to make a recording with you. Someday. Well, wrong. Press on, darling.
Well,
I want someday to make a recording with you, Louis.
Well, whatever you got against me, Louis.
Now, just a minute, Armstrong. I sing, you know.
Oh, yeah, I heard about you singing.
Oh, you heard about it really well?
Mm-hmm. I was standing on Broadway, and a man came up and gave me your regards.
Must have been one of those Herald Squares. Look, Toulouse. If you want to come on my program and sing, this might be a good time to show what you can do. Louis, how about it? Should you improvise a little something for Tousle Top?
Anything you like.
Okay, baby, let's hear something. If you're going to audition, let's do it now. I don't want you to louse up my show.
Me audition?
Me, Cleveland Indian.
Besides, darling, I'm not prepared.
Oh, you didn't bring your voice with you, huh? So much the better. Come on, I'll help you out.
Oh, no, Bob, no.
Oh, come on, let's make her sing. How about it, folks? Well, if nobody wants to listen to her, I...
Now, just a censored minute, Hope. If they want to hear me sing, I'll sing. And we leave it to the audience whether I sing on your show or not.
Okay, anyone else? Last chance, sedatives, sleeping pills, revolvers. Yes, ma'am, we have earplugs. No, madam, only 2 to a customer. What do you mean you need 3?
Louis, you'll need a couple of those earplugs.
A couple of those earplugs on me, do that.
Well, I'm certainly not going to listen to this by myself. Give me a couple, too.
Okay, Louis, let's hear it. I'll start you off, Lou.
This is a lot of fun, darling, but I have to ring my chimes. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting
My
Company.
melancholy, babe. We're off the air, yes. Well, let's go.
Show. This is the National Broadcasting Company's Sunday extravaganza with the most scintillating personalities in show business. The Big Show, the Sunday night feature of NBC's All-Star Festival, is brought to you by your local Ford dealer, who is now displaying the new 1951 Ford, the car that's built for the years ahead, by RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television, by Chesterfield, the only cigarette that combines mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste, the cigarette that brings you Bing Crosby and Bob Hope, and by the makers of Anacin for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. The big stars on this program are Louis Armstrong, Bob Hope, Deborah Carr, Frankie Lane, Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin, Dorothy McGuire, Meredith Wilson and his Big Show Orchestra and Chorus, and every week your hostess, the glamorous, unpredictable Tallulah Bankhead.
Yes, darlings, this is Tallulah broadcasting from Hollywood, Bankhead. Telling you that if you don't listen to the Big Show, you're a big smo. Or if you're in a stew and you don't know what to do, listen to Tallulah. And you'll never be blue. So new.
Well, Tallulah Bankhead, Girl Burl.
Well, Bob Hope.
Thank you, Tallulah. I'm happy to be here with you on your second Hollywood version of The Big Show.
Oh, it's nice having you, darling. Nice to catch you on the ground for a change.
Yes. I have been traveling a lot lately, but I've got to stop it. I have so many labels on my trunks, the laundry won't take them anymore.
Darling, I know the sacrifice you're making, giving up the Los Angeles Rams Chicago Bears championship game at the Coliseum.
And you're not kidding, but that's all right. I've got to keep working. After all, I'm a comedian. I have a government to support. But it's nice being here with you, Tallulah, during the Yuletide season. Of course, whenever I think of Christmas, I think of my old folks back home. Take it, Iowa. You know, Christmas season brings out the sentiment in the body. Yes, sir. I'm the kind of guy who does a lot of traveling, but I'm like anybody else. No matter where you go, you never get very far away from that old hometown. And I was reared in Cleveland. I can remember way back to the time I was a baby. I was born in a poor family. My mother couldn't even afford talcum powder. She used to turn my little body over and sprinkle it with Dutch cleanser. Till I was 10 months old, I didn't know whether I was a boy or a kitchen sink. That's why at Christmas time, I like to go back to Cleveland to see my folks. And they're always happy to see me. Of course, they're just as happy getting it by mail, but I always feel sentimental about my hometown. With all the friendly faces, the familiar buildings, Main Street, Elm Street lying parallel to it, and my Uncle Louis lying parallel to both. People said he was a drunkard, but he wasn't. He only drank a little bit to steady himself. Sometimes he got so steady he couldn't move. My family were very poor. We lived in a little shack, just 2 rooms and a path. But even though... Couldn't hear it, huh? But even though we were poverty-stricken, I was even sophisticated as a baby. I was so high class I wouldn't suck my thumb till I put it in a cigarette holder. But my mother was one of those dear hearts and gentle people. She tried to raise us right even though we were broke. She couldn't buy us underwear, but she did the best she could. She lined us all up and painted buttons on our stomachs. She couldn't even afford to buy me a haircut. My hair was so long till I was 19 years old I thought I was a St. Bernard. I found out I wasn't just in time. I was going steady with an Airedale. But what a picture comes to mind when I think of the old hometown. Old Pappy Walker sitting in front of the general store, carving a sailboat in a bottle. I wonder if he ever got out of the bottle when the sailboat was finished. And then there was Miss Drainafor, my old teacher. I can still see her sitting in the classroom, an old lady just knitting. She was knitting an old man. On a vacation, Miss Drainafor used to go to the big city and burn the candle at both ends.
for weeks after, she couldn't put on a hat or sit down. And when I think of the Yuletide season, I always think of my parents. My father was a great man and a big practical joker, too. So was my mother. They finally played a trick on each other. Me. You know, I started the first quiz show in Cleveland. When I was born, my father took one look at me and asked the doctor, "What is it?" The doctor answered, "Well, I missed that one. Can I stand by for the jackpot?" Father was betting on a boy and Mother was betting on a girl. But Doctor won. He had me across the board. But we were a proud family, people of the soil. We'd been farmers for generations, and everything we did was connected with the soil. In fact, we were the dirtiest family in the state. But it was a happy family. My father worshipped my mother. He got her everything. He wasn't wealthy. He was a shoplifter. When he walked out of a department store, the whole left side of the building sagged. Like all families, we were hit by the Depression. My father was hurt in the crash of 29. The runway at Minsky's collapsed on his head. Well, before I knew it was time for me to go to school. I was enrolled in a finishing school for backward children. And I did very well. I started in the 8th grade, and in no time at all, I was back in kindergarten. It was in the 3rd grade that I first fell in love. I know it sounds kind of silly to be in love with the 3rd grade, but don't forget, I was 38 years old. And I'll never forget the first time I kissed my little girlfriend. She was wearing braces, and I was wearing braces. And when we kissed, our braces locked. After that, we went everywhere together. Then came graduation time, with all the kids in their caps and gowns. I caused quite a sensation. My gown was strapless. And I did very well in sports at school. I had a typical athlete's physique. Big chest, hard stomach. But that's all behind me now. But I used to play football when I was in school. It was part of the cure. And all of the fans around Cleveland knew my name. It was painted on my bucket. I had a very peculiar nickname. They called me Neckline Hope. I was always plunging down the middle, but never really showed anything. My first year, I was disqualified from playing football for a scholastic reason: stupidity. I thought the big 9 were my toes. It was right about then that I met her. Yes, her. I never did find out what her name was. She was a vision of loveliness. She had long blonde hair and luscious red lips, which she wore in a bun on the top of her head. But the best part about her was that she was tattooed. That made it nice for me because I couldn't afford a television set. So we almost broke up. I'd seen the picture before. We were very much in love. She called me baby, and I called her my little pussycat. I called her pussycat because I thought she'd take the hint and shave off her whiskers. Finally came the day of our wedding. She was a sentimental girl, so she got married in her grandmother's dress. She looked lovely, but her poor grandmother almost froze to death. It was a lovely ceremony except for the kiss. My nose created a suction, and we had to be separated with a razor blade. Yes, we were married. And tomorrow marks our 25th anniversary. It'll be 25 years since we've talked to each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new 1951 Ford, the car that Progressive Planning designed, engineered, and made come true, is at your Ford dealers now. And everything about it tells you that here is a quality car, a fine car that's built for the years ahead. When you examine the 1951 Ford, for example, take a good long look at its luxury lounge interior. You will find styling, fine coachwork, color-harmonized Ford Craft fabrics that are years ahead in beauty. When you drive the new Ford, notice how the automatic ride control literally adjusts the ride to the road and makes the roughest bumps easy on you, easy on the car itself. And there's more, much, much more. In all, there are 43 new look-ahead features, each designed to give you added value for the long years to come. Yes, indeed. When you see the 1951 Ford, when you drive it, you'll agree it's the finest Ford ever produced.
And now, darlings, the two young Paramount stars who have taken the country by storm. The only comedy act in show business that can possibly follow Bob Hope, Dean Martin, and Jerry Lewis.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very sweet. It's a Lulabunkus. We're very happy. Very happy to be here. You've been on for over a half hour already. Wash up, get your money, and get out of here. Social Security number. We'll take over now. Here we are on the big show. You know this is the day.
Hey.
And I was nervous.
Hey, Jerry. Crazy? What's wrong with you? You got to conduct yourself like a gentleman on the big show. Now, don't louse me up here like you do everywhere else. Aren't you happy to be on the big show?
Ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lies. I don't like her.
You don't like Miss Bankhead?
Young man.
Dean, she's going to hit me.
Come on, Jerry. Now, come on. Let's settle down.
All righty, Dean. We'll have a cottage.
All righty, Dean.
No, because you said let's settle down. We'll have a cottage small by a waterfall with roses rambling round the door and the patter of little feet across the floor.
Yeah, mice.
Oh, Dean, I don't like it here. Come on, let's go back to the marble tournament. I'll treat. I got 2 Aggies.
No, Jerry, you don't understand. Miss Bankhead was complimenting us by saying we were the only act who could follow Bob Hope.
Oh, she compliments. Everyone else she insults. I told you she don't like us.
Ah, but Jerry, darling.
I did not come here not to be insulted.
Well, Jerry, if you won't listen to reason, I'm going to call on your partner, Dean Martin, to sing.
Well, I'll be glad to, Miss Bankhead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Martin will sing.
Dean, she's going to introduce you for all these years.
My tongue got in the way of my eye tooth. I couldn't see what I was saying.
Yeah.
She's going to introduce you. For all these years, we have been partners, and now you are going to let her introduce you. What are you doing to me?
Miss Bankhead, would you mind if Mr. Lewis introduced me awfully?
As I'm sure only he can. All right, Mr. Lewis, we'll introduce the song. What are you going to sing, Dean?
Leon Rose.
You may introduce him, Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I want to introduce Levian Rose. Levian Rose is my partner, Mr. Martin. But this is a very beautiful Levian Rose, arranged and conducted. I should say conducted by Meredith Wilson. This is arranged by our own wonderful conductor, Mr. Dick Stabile. Dean Martin sings Levian Rose, and this is swell.
Magic spell you cast. This is love. When you kiss me, heaven sighs, and though I close my eyes, I still love you. When you press me to your heart, I'm all apart. Oh, the world is blue. And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem to turn into love songs. You are hiding soul in me, and life
down here. Is she for real? Don't think she makes a living.
Ah, Jerry, don't tell me you've never heard of Tallulah Bankhead. Jerry, I'm speaking to you. Why don't you answer me?
You told me not to tell you I never heard of Tallulah Bankhead. I made a boo-boo.
Look, Jerry, you made a double boo-boo. Tallulah Bankhead is a great stage actress. Surely you saw her in private life.
I don't butt into other people's business.
No, Jerry, it was a stage show. Didn't you see it?
I don't remember. What was the picture playing with it?
There was no picture playing with it, just a stage show. She's been in a lot of stage shows. She played in Rain.
That's how she got so hoarse?
Ah, come on now, Jerry. Haven't you heard of Tallulah Bankhead and the Little Foxes?
Oh, she's an animal trainer.
No. Tallulah Bankhead in Skin of Our Teeth.
Skin of Our Teeth?
Oh, come now, Basil. This has gone far enough. Far enough, do you hear? Do you hear me? Do you hear me? I said far enough, do you hear?
Dean, are you listening?
Jerry, you don't seem to get the idea. Now, I remember taking you to a play once. I even remember you stopped into the lobby and you got yourself a glass of orangeade.
Oh, yeah. I remember the orangeade, and the girl with a flashlight told us we could sit down on the seats and be comfortable while we were drinking the orangeade. And a fella came out and sang something about an enchanted evening, and a girl washed her hair, and a bunch of sails were running after some dames, and a girl was saying, happy talky, talky, happy talk. What you have to go through just to drink a lousy glass of orangeade.
That's the place, Jerry.
I went back there, you know. There was such a crowd waiting I couldn't get in. I guess everybody found out they have the best orangeade in town.
Now you got it. That's it. Tallulah Bankhead in the theater.
Oh, now I know. She's the one who makes the orangeade. From this she makes a living.
Ah, Jerry, stop being so stupid.
So how will you make a living?
You know, this is tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Please be patient with me, Dean. I've got a terrible headache.
Where do you keep it?
Ha, 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 ha. That's very funny. You see, I said I got a terrible headache, and he says, where do you keep it? He's making out like I haven't got a head.
Joke over. You don't have to explain my joke.
So, Dean, what are friends for?
All right, come on, let's get back to the theater.
I'm not thirsty.
Well, boys, how's it going?
Dean, she's back again. Don't let her hit me.
Oh, why don't you stop? She won't hurt you.
Could I feed her?
She's very friendly.
Could I scratch her behind the ear?
Dean, tell me, is he for real?
I often wonder.
I want to apologize, Miss Bankhead. I shouldn't have been so fresh. Dean told me all about your sickness. Does it hurt much?
That's what hurt much.
The skin of your teeth.
Why, you little half-sized, half-idiot, half-imbecile.
Dean, she did it. She likes us. We're in. She insulted us.
She didn't insult me.
Dean, don't worry. She said half. We're partners. You get half of everything I get.
Say, Bob Hope, what's all this I hear about giving Crosby for Christmas?
Well, Bing's Papa Santa Claus this year, you know, and a Chesterfield Christmas carton.
Bob, it's a very nice gift. I've already bought several. But tell me, why aren't you on the Christmas carton, too?
Well, I was supposed to be, Jimmy, but old Sag has gotten so fleshy there just wasn't room. Seriously, folks, Chesterfield Christmas cartons are the best thing you could give or get because Chesterfield is the milder cigarette, and you can prove that yourself. Just make the Chesterfield mildness test. Buy Chesterfields. Open them and enjoy that milder, mellow aroma. Now light one up, and you'll know Chesterfield's milder because it smokes milder. Another thing you'll notice, Chesterfield leaves no unpleasant aftertaste. That fact has been confirmed by the country's first and only cigarette taste panel. So for all the smokers on your list, give Crosby for Christmas. Give Christmas carton to Chesterfield, the only cigarette that combines for you mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste.
Tallulah,
Yes, Dean, what is it, darling?
My partner Jerry and I were thinking...
That's very funny. Let's get on with the rest of the show.
Wait a minute, missus. He didn't tell you yet. So what are you laughing for? Dean Martin has something to tell you, and he is my friend, and I would gladly die for him. Would I not, Dean Martin, die for you?
Sure he would. Go ahead, Jerry. Sure. Drop dead.
I can't die today. I don't feel so good.
Darling, stop being morbid. What were you going to say, Dean?
I speak. We would like to meet... We would like to meet Mr. Bob Hope in person and make a deal with him. Do you think he'll sell us some jokes or maybe trade us some jokes?
Well, why don't you talk to Bob about it? Come on, Bob. Here, the boys want to do some business with you. You know Mr. Martin?
Oh, sure. Hi, Tony.
And Mr. Lewis. And Mr. Lewis.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Mort.
Time out, conference. Dean, you think he really doesn't know it, or is he making a joke?
Making a joke.
Darling.
Mr. Hope, we'd like to consummate a little deal with you. Would you sell us some jokes, or maybe you'd be interested in trading a few jokes?
Oh, I don't get you.
Well, I'll give you, for instance, I'll give you a brand new joke I made up today out of a magazine. For one of your old jokes.
Well, what's the joke?
A joke. You say to somebody, I went to see Albert Einstein, and somebody says, how did you find him? And you say, I pushed back his hair, and there he was. Now you give me one of your old jokes.
No deal.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Hope. Don't pass that joke up. You know, there are two other jokes you can make out of it. Now, like, how did you find your steak? Oh, I pushed back the potatoes, and there it was. Or, how did you find the West? Pushed back the Indians, and there it was.
If anybody asks me how I found Martin Lewis, I'll say pretty dog.
All right, Mr. Hope. I'll make the supreme sacrifice. I got a brand new Groucho Marx joke.
Really? Brand new?
You bet your life.
Okay, I'll trade you even up. Somebody fall down? What was that? Brand new? I bet your life. That's well, anyway, okay. Somebody's wearing a neon nose here. I don't know. Say, okay, I'll trade you even up for a brand new Phil Harris.
All right, that's the deal. Let's see it.
Oh, no, sight unseen.
Okay, here you are. I got it written down here.
Okay, and here's yours.
Wait a minute, fellas. You're playing without me? Who blew up the ball? So I want to trade, too. I got a brand new Fred Allen. I'll trade you for that Phil Harris.
That's a trade, kid. Here you are.
And here are you.
Now, let me see what this says.
Yeah, let's read them.
How did you find Albert Einstein? I pushed back his hair, and there he was.
Here's a word from RCA Victor. Only 6 shopping days left till Christmas. But that's not bothering America's snappiest families. They need only 1 day to select the greatest family gift in history. An RCA Victor complete home entertainment combination. They're pooling their dreams and their money to buy the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving. Giving not just to one, but to all. Giving not just a day, but every hour, every day, every year. Giving not just RCA Victor radio or recorded music or television, but all three combined in one magnificent cabinet. Why don't you join together and agree this minute to meet each other next Monday at your RCA Victor dealers to choose your matchless RCA Victor radio phonograph television combination? You'll find it costs far less than you'd pay for each instrument separately. You'll find that your RCA Victor combination is the greatest gift each of you ever made to the year-round happiness of all of you.
Darlings, prepare for some excitement. Appearing with us in a few minutes will be 2 glamorous movie stars, members of the Actors Company, Deborah Carr and Dorothy Maguire. Deborah Carr can currently be seen with Stuart Granger and Richard Carlson in Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's Technicolor production, King Solomon's Mine. Oh, and yes, don't think I'm forgetting another star on our show, Frankie Lane. It's just that I have a little funny way of my own to introduce them.
Hey, Joe, Tallulah, how do you find Deborah Carr? Dorothy Maguire and Frankie Lane.
And I say, I'll just push back my chimes, and there they'll be. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. Well, darling, I suppose you've noticed something unusual about our big show today. So far, there have been no women. Present company accepted, of course. But we are just about ready to make up for it. What with Deborah Carr and Darcy McGuire on our show. Oh, what am I doing? There's still another man whom I haven't presented, and what a man.
You know I'm here, Lou. I've already been on.
Not you, Bob. I'm talking about Frankie Lane.
Well, what's so special about him? Let's skip Lane and get to the girls.
Hey, Dean, look who's sitting there. Two big movie actresses.
Well, don't get excited, Jerry. So are we.
We're movie actresses.
Are you through, crew? Say, don't crowd, fellas. There's enough here for everybody.
Thank you, darling.
And one left over for somebody.
2 girls and 3 boys. It don't come out even, so I'll choose first.
No, you hold it, Jerry. I'll take Deborah Carr.
Now it's 1 girl and 2 boys. Eeny, meeny, miny, mire. I will choose Dorothy McGuire. Okay, Dorothy? Dean, I don't think she likes me.
Ah, don't be silly, Jerry. Of course she does. I think you're a handsome, intelligent, attractive young man. I think you're real nice.
So if you like me, you take me out.
I'll tell you what, Germ. You and I'll take Deborah.
Oh, yummy. I'll take Dorothy McGuire. Okay, fellas, we're all set to take the girls out after the show. Pass the sen-ten.
Now, just wait a minute. I've been standing here listening to this juvenile Casanovian drivel with ill-concealed contempt. Using this show to divide up 2 lovely ladies. It is disgusting a display of ill manners and bad taste that I have ever seen.
Hello, Miss Bankhead.
Ah, Frankie Lane, darling. Just in time, Frankie. Just in...
Okay, fellas, we're all set to take the girls out after the show. Pass the sen-ten.
Now, just wait a minute. I've been standing here listening to this juvenile Casanovian drivel with ill-concealed contempt. Using this show to divide up 2 lovely ladies. It is disgusting a display of ill manners and bad taste that I have ever seen.
Hello, Miss Bankhead.
Ah, Frankie Lane, darling. Just in time, Frankie. Just in time. 3 of us couples are going out after the show.
Okay, I'll take Dorothy McGuire.
She's spoken for, darling.
So, okay, I'll take Deborah Carr.
Sorry, someone's taking her. Well...
Well, I could call my wife. Maybe she'll want to go.
Isn't he sweet? Well, what about me?
Well, if my wife can go, we'll need a babysitter.
What? Sing your song, Lane.
Okay, I'm going to live till I die. Meredith, if you please. If you're troubled by the blues, rise up before you reach the end. Oh, don't be so unhappy, my friend. Be like me. I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna take the town and turn it upside down. I'm gonna live till I die. They're gonna say, what a guy. I'm gonna play for the sky. Ain't gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live till I die. The blues will lay low. I'll make them stay low. They'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel. But until then, hallelujah, gonna dance, gonna fly. I'll take a chance riding high. Before my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live till I die. You gotta laugh instead of cry. You gotta play for the sky.
You gotta sing and have your sing.
So I'm gonna laugh.
He's gonna laugh.
I'm gonna play.
He's gonna play.
I'm gonna sing, smile, dance, and live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry. I'm gonna take the town and turn it upside down. I'm gonna live till I die. They're gonna say, what a guy. I'm gonna play for the sky. Ain't gonna miss a thing. I'm gonna have my fling. I'm gonna live till I die. The blues will ring so low, I'll make them sail so low. They'll never trail over my head. I'll be a devil till I'm an angel. But until then, hallelujah, gonna dance, gonna fly. I'll take a chance riding high. Before my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live till I die. Live until I die. Before my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live until I die.
Here is something you should know if you ever suffer from the sudden pain of headaches, neuritis, or neuralgia. It's a way to ease the pain, often within a few minutes. A way that is incredibly fast and effective. It's Anacin. Anacin is like a doctor's prescription. That is, Anacin contains not just one, but a combination of medically proven active ingredients in easy-to-take tablet form. Thousands of people were first introduced to Anacin through their own physicians or dentists. But today these tablets are in such widespread use that all drug counters have them, and anyone may enjoy their benefits. Next time you suffer from the pains of a headache, neuritis, or neuralgia, by all means try Anacin. You'll like the convenience of Anacin tablets, and you'll be delighted with Anacin's incredibly fast action. Anacin. Anacin. Ask for Anacin by name today at your druggist.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the big show the Actors Company of Hollywood, which is composed of some of the outstanding creative artists in Hollywood who have brought the living American theater to the West Coast. Tonight, the Actors Company has graciously invited me to appear with them in a radio adaptation of Claire Booth Luce's Broadway play, The Women. The scene is in the living room of Mary Haynes on Top Avenue, the time, afternoon, the occasion, canasta. Dorothy McGuire appears as Peggy, Deborah Carr as Mary, and I play Sylvia. Ladies and gentlemen, the Actors Company.
Excuse me, Sylvia. I think I'd better join the others. I haven't seen Mary's children yet. They're just back from the park.
Wait, Peggy. I've got something to tell you. I'll burst if I have to wait.
Oh, I knew you had something. I'm not sure you should tell me, Sylvia.
Now, don't be stupid, Peggy. Stephen Haynes is two-timing Mary. He's playing around. He's got a girl.
Oh, I don't believe it. Is it true?
Wait till you hear. Now, you know I go to Michael's for my hair. You ought to go, Pet. I despise whatever does yours. Well, that's the most wonderful new manicurist there. Aren't my nails divine? Look, dear, a jungle red.
Go on, Sylvia. What are you trying to say?
Well, now, this manicurist is marvelous. Was doing my nails. And I was looking through Vogue. You know, the one with Mary in the Beaux-Arts ball costume.
Oh, yes, she wore a white and powdered wig, and she looked lovely.
Yes. Well, now, this manicurist, Mrs. Dollar, she said. Is that the Mrs. Haynes who was so awfully rich?
And what difference does it make to her?
Oh, I forget what she said next. You know how these creatures are. Babble, 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 babble. Never let it for a moment. When suddenly she said, I know Mr. Haynes' girlfriend.
Oh, how could you listen to her?
Listen to her, my dear. How do you suppose I felt? I couldn't very well shut her up. I mean, I had to find out who the other woman was.
Does Mary know about this?
No, but she's bound to find out. If a woman's got any instinct, she feels when her husband is off the reservation. I know I would, but not Mary. If only there was some way to warn her.
Sylvia, you're not going to tell her.
Why, certainly not, my dear. But I'd die before I'd be the one to hurt her like that.
Couldn't someone shut that manicurist up?
A good story like that? A lot these girls care whose lives they ruin.
Dirty, isn't it?
Foul. My dear, the whole thing's disgustingly unfair to Mary. I feel her like a disloyal skunk. Well, just knowing about it. You know I worship Mary. She's my dearest friend in the world.
Helen, help her.
Shut up, Peggy. Here, shut up.
I'm so sorry to have kept you. I was talking to Stephen. Where are the others?
They're in with the children, Mary.
Well, darling, how is Stephen, the old dear? And did you give him my love?
I did, Sylvia. Stephen's not so well.
Oh. What's the trouble?
Nervous indigestion. That's why I have a plain cook now.
Oh, there's nothing worrying Stephen.
Oh, no, he's just been working late. He's not coming home again tonight.
Oh, are you sure it's work, darling, and not a beautiful blonde?
Oh, Sylvia.
Well, Stephen's a very attractive man.
Isn't he? I can't imagine why he hasn't deserted me for some glamorous creature long ago.
Oh, Mary, you do sound smart.
Oh, let me be, Peggy. How can you be too sure of what you believe in most?
I wouldn't be sure of anyone if you were able to get up and totter across a room. I always tell my spouse, if you ever manage to make a fool of me, I'll deserve what I get.
You certainly will.
Oh, Mary, have you seen my new nail color? How do you like that?
It's attractive, Sylvia.
Oh, you can't imagine how it stays on. I get it at Michael's. You want to go, Mary?
Sylvia.
Oh, a wonderful new manicurist. Olga's her name. She's marvelous.
Let's play canasta.
Now, look, Mary, they call it Jungle Red.
It looks as if you'd been tearing at somebody's throat.
Well, that does it, Peggy. I'll never tell you another thing.
That will be just fine.
Now, girls, I really do like Sylvia's polish. It's new and smart. Michael, Olga, Jungle Red. I'll remember that. Shall we cut the deal, Sylvia, you and I? I feel lucky today.
Do you, darling? Well, you know what they say, lucky in cards.
Michael, Olga, Jungle Red. Yes, I went to Michael's, and I had my nails done by Olga. And I had my world destroyed, too. I found out what my friends already knew. Stephen had another woman, Crystal Allen. The place they send wives with shattered worlds is called Reno. It wasn't long before we were there. Oh, yes, Peggy and Sylvia had to go, too. Divorce seemed to be catching.
Well, Sylvia,
what are you doing in Reno, Peggy?
I couldn't resist the slot machine.
I can imagine. Well, relax, darling. You'll get a better break from those one-armed bandits than you got from dear husband John.
And I suppose you came here for the rodeo?
Don't be crude, dear. What if he does look a little bent when he's not on his horse? He's the best I can find in this town. At least I'm not going to sit around and mope like Mary.
Now, don't start anything, Sylvia. This is Mary's last night. She gets a decree tomorrow. I'm praying she'll get a call from New York tonight.
I mean, Mary would take Stephen back.
Well, why not? Why not? You think I wouldn't take John back? That is, if we hadn't feuded so terribly over money.
Oh, stop sniveling. You and Mary had no pride. I'd roast on a spit before I'd take Howard Fowler back. Kicking me out like that after all I sacrificed.
You did? What did you do?
I gave him my youth. But I got paid plenty. The skunk.
Oh, Sylvia, why do you hate Mary so?
I don't hate her. It's just that she was always so smug about her husband and her happiness. Now she's down like all the rest of them.
Yes, Sylvia. I'm down now. We're all in the soup together. By the way, here's a letter that came for you.
Oh, thanks. Haven't heard from Stephen, I suppose.
No. It's too late for that, I'm afraid.
Oh, well, sweetheart, he's hardly worth a broken heart.
The less you have to say about me and Stephen, the better I like it.
Well, I'm only trying to cheer you up. That's more than you do for me.
I'm doing enough just being pleasant to you.
Ah, you have got to just still.
Now, you let Mary alone. We're all in the same fix.
Oh, I'm just trying to make her see that life isn't over just because Stephen let her down.
I'm glad you've adjusted to the inevitable, Sylvia.
What do you mean by that crack, darling?
She means what we read in the New York papers this morning. Your husband is marrying Miriam Arendt of the Vanities.
Why, you little...
No, Sylvia.
Did you know this?
Oh, Sylvia, why do you care? You don't love Howard.
Oh, Mary, how could you do this to me?
I'm terribly sorry, Sylvia.
This humiliation, this carefully timed insult. And after all I've done for you...
And what have you done for me?
I warned you.
I'm not exactly grateful for that.
No, aren't you? Listen to me, you ball of conceit. You're not the object of pity, you suppose. Plenty of the girls that tickle to death you got was coming to you. You deserve to lose Stephen, the stupid way you acted. But I always stood up to you like a loyal friend. What thanks do I get? You knew about this woman. You stood by gloating. Why
Get out of here. Get out.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate everybody. I hate everybody. You wait. Someday you'll need a woman friend. Then you'll think of me.
Well, that is that. Oh, Mary, what are we doing here? What is happening to us? We're being written off the books, Peggy. But you haven't given up, Mary, not really. You still think in your heart that Stephen will call. Don't you, Mary? Don't you? No. No, Peggy, it's too late. If he were going to call, he wouldn't have waited until now, the very last minute. I need someone to protect us from all this. A woman's best protection is the right man. And obviously your John isn't the right man, Peggy, and you'll forget all about him in another month. Another month? Oh, no. No, I can't stand it here another moment. Oh, I can't, Mary. I can't. But Peggy, what's the matter with you? I'm going to have a baby. Oh, Mary, what shall I do? Do? Well, there's only one thing to do. New York, operator. Peggy, what's the number? Eldorado 52075. Eldorado 52075. Oh, I can't tell him now. Oh, Mary, I know I was wrong, but it's no use. You just don't know the things he said to me, and I have my pride. Reno's full of women who all have their pride. Hello? Mr. Day, please. Reno calling. Just hold on a moment. Hello, John? Oh, no, I'm not sick. Oh, John, I'm going to have a baby. Oh, my dear. Are you? Oh, dearest. Do you? Oh, dearest, so am I. Of course I forgive you. Oh, yes, precious. Yes, lamb. On the very next train. Oh, Johnny, when I get back, things are going to be so different. And, dear, do you mind if I reverse the charges? Oh, Mary, I've got to pack. Oh, Mary, I can't bear to leave you here alone. Why don't you do something about Stephen? It's different with me, Peggy. Stephen is marrying another woman, but she doesn't love him. I do. That's the way it is. But, Mary, why don't you fight for him? Your marriage isn't really ended until you end it. Fight? Yes. Why not, Peggy? Why not? Fight the way other women fight. You're right, Peggy. It isn't ended, is it? If your heart doesn't say so, it's not ended.
This powder room looks like ladies' night at Madison Square Garden. Here, Peggy, try my lipstick. I can't bear that shade you're using.
Thanks, Sylvia. What do you think of the party?
Gruesome. I hate this club.
You know, Mary is here tonight.
Yes, I saw her. First time she's been out in a year. Why, do you suppose?
She's here because Stephen is here and his new wife.
Well, why should Mary be here? Because Stephen's here. Don't tell me she's still in that country.
Well, why not? Now, look here, Sylvia. You knew that crystal creature, didn't you?
I met her. What makes you think Mary thinks she has a chance?
I've got a hunch you could tell her that.
Maybe I could.
Oh, what do you mean?
That Stephen of hers is a Puritan. Bless his little Plymouth Rock soul. My psychoanalyst tells me that men of his generation were brought up to believe that wives who carry keys to other apartments are strictly for burning.
What are you talking about?
Well, I shouldn't be talking about it at all. But I will tell you this. I visited this crystal a month ago, and while she was bathing, I rummaged around and came across a key. A little gold key.
A key to what?
To an apartment where the new Mrs. Stephen Haynes still sees an old boyfriend, Jim Winston.
Sylvia, you've got to tell Mary. Tell Mary what, girls?
Oh, Mary, you're looking ravishing. Is this your first night out since Reno?
Yes, darling. I'm a recluse. Stay home and brood. Mary, you've been sitting out there in that club all night with Jim Winston. I've seen how he is.
Intoxicated as usual, I'll bet.
Yes, Sylvia.
Found out anything, darling?
Plenty. I think he's the secret in Crystal's life.
Aha, so you have been digging. Well, I hope you know what you're talking about, dearie.
Yes, I know what I'm talking about, Sylvia. I know all about Crystal and Jim Winston. And Jim Winston is just waiting for me to cue him so that he can tell Stephen everything about his precious new wife.
Good girl.
Yes, Jim Winston thinks I'm a very much abused gal. His Western chivalry is about to light up like a crepe Suzette.
Well, This couldn't be the little Mary who put herself high on the pedestal above all us poor, downtrodden, unfortunate females a year ago.
Now, Sylvia, you have the proof Mary needs. Give her that key. What key?
My darling, I never become embroiled in divorce actions, other people's. I photograph terribly.
Come on, Sylvia. For once in your life, play ball. Give Mary that key.
Mary, do you mean you'll take that flute as leftovers?
I'll take him, thank you. I love him.
Why, Mary, haven't you any pride?
Pride? That's a luxury a woman in love can't afford.
Well, what do you do if I give you the key?
If it's what I think it is, I'm going out there right now and let Jim Winston tell Stephen the truth. The whole truth about Mrs. Crystal Haynes. Then I'll move in and get him back.
Why, Mary, I believe you will. Well, here, darling, take the key. Incidentally, pet, it's for 807 Gothic Arms, a real flea bag. The elevator boys make excellent witnesses.
Make way for a lady who is about to fight for her man and no holds barred.
Why, Mary, what a dirty female trick.
I had a year to sharpen my claws, darling. How do you like my nails, Sylvia? Jungle red, pet. Good night, ladies.
Deborah Darcy, don't go away, darling. I want to have some girl talk with you in just a moment. Right now, a man named Bing Crosby wants to say something.
By the way, Bing, do you happen to catch Bob Hope's program?
Oh, Ken, the Bob Hope show is an absolute must in the Crosby household.
Good.
Every Tuesday night, we all gulp our dinner down, then we dash madly for the radio. We all sit in a semicircle, and we pay strict attention. Oh. The first one to laugh has to wash the dishes.
Make a regular game out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, then you heard Bob mention the new Chesterfield poster, the one that shows him holding up the new Chesterfield Christmas carton?
Oh, indeed I did. I heard him plug my Santa Claus likeness on the carton, too.
You know, but you make a very convincing Papa Santa Claus.
Well, I've had a modicum of practice, shall we say. Anyway, it's a wonderful gift for just about everyone you want to get a gift for.
Chesterfield, always brings us place. That milder, mild tobacco never leaves an aftertaste.
So open a pack, give 'em a smell.
Then you smoke 'em.
This Christmas, give Chesterfield Christmas cartons with Bing as Papa Santa Claus.
Hey, Toulouse.
What's it, Bob?
Well, Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, and I would like to do our version of The Women. We call it The Fellers.
Well, let's hear it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Actors Company.
Sydney.
What is it, Marvin?
I love your drapes.
Thank goodness someone noticed them. I've been wearing them for 3 weeks, and my wife never said a word. Before we were married, she noticed everything I wore. You know how we met. I was a car hop at a drive-in.
Oh, I remember when you worked there. You sure could fill a pair of tight slacks.
And then some. Thank you, Marvin. I remember when you were thin, too. Say, speaking of blubber, have you seen Piggy lately?
Not so loud. He's in the next room fixing his face.
Fixing his face? How did he manage to do that? It's so hard to get parts these days.
Gee, here he comes now. Get a load of that hair, will you?
Hair? I thought it was a helmet. Oh, hello. Hello, Piggy. Say, I like your hair.
You mean it? You like this color? Jungle red.
Oh, yes, it goes so well with your eyes.
Oh, that's because he cries so much. No woman is worth it, Piggy. There are other fish in the sea.
I don't like fish. I like women.
Look, what are you worried about, Pig? After your wife gets a divorce, you'll find somebody else. There are 2 million women in New York.
Yeah, but they don't want to get married.
How do you know?
I asked them.
Don't cry, Piggy.
I want my wife. I miss my poopsie.
So go out home to your poopsie. Go ahead.
I can't.
Why not?
She hits me.
Besides, I overheard my caddy telling the masseur that Poopsie is going out with Fred.
That's a lie. Fred is going out with Miriam.
What about Velma?
Velma broke off with Fred when she saw him with Isabel.
Isabel. Why, Isabel told Martha that Selma isn't speaking to Miriam since Dolores found that gold key to Maxine's medicine cabinet in Tallulah's flat.
Would you mind repeating the question?
I don't carry tales. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm going out and paint the town red. Jungle red, of course. How about it, Marvin? Want to come along with me?
Yeah, I'd love to, Sidney, but my little 6-year-old niece has come to visit me.
Piggy, will you look after Marvin's niece?
Me? But your niece is a stranger to me. Marvin, what is your niece? A boy or a girl?
Well, a girl.
Does she hit? I don't like to be hit by a stranger.
Oh, you'll get along fine with her. Come on, Sidney, let's go.
Okay, see you later, Piggy.
Now I gotta take care of a stranger. Oh, me. Oh, my. Golly gee. Here I sit, all alone. Gee, I said I sit all alone and the telephone rang. Oh, it hurts me. Hello? Oh, Pooksy, am I glad you called? I'm in terrible trouble. You gotta take me back. I didn't want to tell you this before, but now you gotta take me back. You gotta. I'm expecting a little stranger.
That was real fun. Well, boys will be boys. And now to the girls. Come on over, Deborah Carr and Darcy McGuire. Aren't they lovely? Two famous movie actresses. You've all seen and admired many, many times. My very dear friends. Darlings, I keep forgetting which one of you is Deborah Carr.
I am. And which one of you is Tallulah Bankhead?
Darling, there is only one Tallulah Bankhead.
Yes. And isn't her name Betty Davis?
Isn't he sweet? Darcy McGuire, Darcy, how are you, dear? I never think of you without remembering the brilliant Claudia that you were. Aren't you ever coming back to Broadway?
Well, I think about it now and then, Tallulah, but my picture work takes all my time. It's not so easy as the theater.
Oh, darling, the theater is quite exhausting.
Exhausting? 2.5 hours a night from 8:30 to 11. What do you do from 11 till 8:30 the next night?
I shake hands with my admirers. Of course. Motion picture work is all right, I suppose. I made one here a few years ago. Lifeboat. I doubt if you see it. Well, anyway, when I finish it, I'll dash right back to my dear old Broadway.
Didn't they ever call you back to make a sequel? Son of Lifeboat.
Isn't he sweet? Oh, I've had offers, of course.
But you were busy shaking hands.
Yes, Deborah, darling. Well, it's all right to make a picture now and then, but I can't understand how you can stay away from New York so long. The home of the living theater, you especially, Darcy. Born for the theater, you might say.
Oh, I love California. We all do. The palm trees, the coconut trees, the banana trees.
Well, of course, bongo, if you don't want to leave the Congo. But I prefer Broadway anytime.
I don't know why. We have radio here, too, you know.
Oh, Deborah, I'm not on radio alone. Besides radio, I take an active interest in the theater. I lecture, make records. I'm spread out all over the place.
Yes, dear, but in that dress, it doesn't show at all.
What?
And besides, Tallulah, we don't only make pictures. We have a theater here, which is very much alive, the Actors Company.
Oh, of course you have, and it's cute to dabble in the arts, I suppose. I'd be glad to join your little group if it will help you out.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tallulah. It's the Actors Company.
That was the unkindest cut of all. Deborah, you know my work in the theater. You remember me on the stage in England.
Well, I was a small child at the time.
Isn't he sweet? I see the two of you against me.
You began it.
The two of you picking on me.
You started picking on me.
No, I'm not a good actress.
Now, who was it said which one of you is Deborah Carr?
Nathan Hale. What difference does it make?
Was it a
joke, or are your eyes bad?
After I spent a lifetime in the theater.
If you'll admit your eyes are bad, I'll apologize.
You stand there and tell me I can't join your actors' company?
Was it a joke, or was it your eyes?
How the mighty have fallen.
Was it your eyes? Look, how many fingers am I holding up?
12, so what? To think that the name of Zulu Banquet, a symbol of the living theater, should be destroyed and ground to ashes. This is the unkindest cut of all.
Oh, Tallulah, I'm sorry. Oh, dear, Tallulah, please don't take it this way. Of course, you're a great actress. We were only joking. Oh, we apologize, Tallulah. It breaks my heart to see you crying.
Actors' company, indeed. Well, darling, that's our show for this week. We're out for New York again, where we'll bring you next week, Sunday, Christmas Eve, and what a load of presents we'll distribute. Jimmy Durante, Bert Law, Robert Merrill, Margaret O'Brien, Edith Piaf, Fan Warren, Ed Wynn, and Meredith Wilson of the Big Show Orchestra and Chorus, and we are dedicating our Christmas Eve show to all our men in uniform all over the world. Until then, darlings, may the good Lord bless and keep you. Whether near or far away.
The Big Show, the Sunday night feature of NBC's All-Star Festival, has been brought to you by your local Ford dealer, who is now displaying the new 1951 Ford, the car that's built for the years ahead. By RCA Victor, world leader in radio, first in recorded music, first in television. By Chesterfield, the only cigarette that combines mildness with no unpleasant aftertaste. And by the makers of Amazon for fast relief from pain of headache, neuritis, and neuralgia. Martin and Lewis appeared through the courtesy of Hal Wallace, producer of Dark City.
From Hollywood, the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. For your enjoyment, here is the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp and his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. It's only a week till Christmas, and Phil is having the same problem that a lot of men are having. What to get his wife for a present.
I don't know what to get Alice. She's got everything. A washing machine, an ironing board, rubber gloves, arch supporters.
Philip, I saw something Alice would love. It's a beautiful mutation mink, and it only costs $7,000.
What are you, a shill for I.J. Fox? That's all I gotta do, spend $7,000 for a mutilated mink.
The least you can do is spend a little money on my sister. After all, she spent plenty on you.
What did she ever spend on me?
I have it all down here in the ledger. Starting from the day she married you, that day alone cost her $1,075.
What for?
A pinstripe suit, a pair of yellow shoes, and a shave.
Well, she was a star, and I didn't want to look like a bum when I led her down the aisle. Besides, that suit and shoes only cost $75. Now, what was the $1,000 spent for?
To hush up the wedding.
It cost her $1,000 for that?
Cost $800 just to have the minister shanghaied to Singapore.
Oh, so that's who sent me a postcard from China. I wondered about that guy. Well, Willie, I don't know. I guess the best thing for me to do is to ask Alice what she wants for Christmas. Hey, Alice! Alice, can I see you a minute there?
I'll be with you as soon as I put down this Ladies' Home Journal, which has an ad for a 1951 convertible, which if you get your order in now is available for Christmas delivery, dear.
Well, now you know what she wants, Philip.
Yes. And if she wants a year's subscription to the Ladies' Home Journal, she shall have it.
That ain't what I had in mind, Wonga. I thought a convertible would be a nice gift.
So would a diamond-studded submarine. But what do you need one for?
Well, it's not so much for me. It's more for my mother. She loves to ride in a convertible with white wall tires.
She wouldn't settle for a motorcycle with a sidecar, would she?
I don't think so.
How about a Schwinn bicycle with a basket? With that one, I'll throw in a pair of clips.
Bill, I was only kidding. You don't have to buy me anything for Christmas. After all, I have everything a girl could want. I have you.
You know something? You're right. It would be kind of silly to try to top that, wouldn't it? But, honey, I do want to get you... I want to get you a little something. What do you want?
Oh, I don't want to tell you what I want. Just surprise me. Bring home an expensive little something.
I don't think I mentioned the word expensive.
So I'm ad-libbing.
Oh. Well, look, I'll go downtown and buy you something now, and then I'll bring it home and give it to you.
Oh, but Phil, that isn't the Christmas spirit. The only people who give presents a week before Christmas are those who want to make sure they'll get something in return.
Yeah, you're right. I guess it would be pretty kind of a cheap way of... I'll get that. Oh, hiya, Frankie.
Hiya, Curly, and here's your Christmas present.
We were just talking about people like you. Now, what's the idea of giving me my present so early? Don't you realize that people who give their... Hey, wait a minute. Most Christmas packages have a sticker that says, do not open until Christmas. This one says, do not open unless. Unless what?
Unless you're planning on getting me something. Well, go ahead and open your present.
Okay. Oh, Frankie. It's beautiful.
You like it, huh?
Oh, it's just what I've always wanted, a stomach pump. Oh, Remley, I don't...
No, don't try to thank me. Use it in good health.
Oh, gee, Rem, this is the nicest gift I ever received, and I want you to know that I'll always carry it close to my heartburn.
I know you'd like it, Curly. The kind of a thing a man never goes out and buys for himself.
All right.
Very practical.
Fine.
If you don't have any trouble with your stomach, you can use it as a bicycle pump. Or to blow up football.
Yes, Frank.
Or good. If you reverse the suction, it can easily be converted into a Turkish water pipe.
Turkish water pipe.
If you reverse the suction.
Yes, I know. Will you stop already? Now, what do you got in the other package there?
Oh, that's a present for Alice.
What did you get her? An upper plate? Look, Remley, why do you keep coming in here?
Frankie.
Hi, Alice. I brought you a Christmas present.
Oh, thank you very much, Frankie.
Go ahead and open it.
Well, it's not the right thing to do, but if you want me to, okay. Oh, Frankie. This is something I've always wanted. A collapsible scaling ladder.
Yeah, I know you'd appreciate it.
Oh.
Comes in very handy.
Yeah, they are handy, honey. You might want to climb up and prune a tree sometime. Maybe rob a bird's nest, a small one, you know. I mean, there's a lot.
Oh, never mind. Thank you very much for the present, Frankie. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going upstairs. I have some work to do.
What are you going to do?
Reshingle the roof. And while I'm gone, Frankie, why don't you sing?
Me sing? You know I don't sing, Alice. You're the one that does the singing around here.
Oh, thank you, Frankie. I'll be glad to.
What an underhanded way to get into a song.
It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you've got a lovely day to do
loving him, that's true. And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two. For I'd really like to say it's a lovely day today. And whatever you've got to do, I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. But if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying it's a lovely day.
It's a lovely day, no matter if it's springtime, summer, winter, or fall.
It's a lovely day.
It's a lovely day.
So whatever you got
you do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true.
And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two. For I'd really like to say
out in the sunshine,
it's a lovely day.
It's a lovely day.
And whatever you've got
and
to
whatever
do,
you do,
I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. But if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one,
there is nothing more to say,
except it's a lovely day for saying it's a lovely day.
Oh, it's such a lovely day.
Thanks again for that lovely present, Frankie. See you later.
Hey, Curly? I got the impression that Alice wasn't too enthused with the scaling ladder I gave her.
But, you know how women are.
You didn't get her one like it for your anniversary, did you?
No. Scaling ladders. Yeah, cute kid. Stomach pumps. Where do you do your shopping, Ephraim?
A friend of mine has an Army and Navy surplus store. If you haven't bought anything for Alice yet, he has just the thing for her.
Yeah, what?
Deep sea diving suit?
A deep sea diving suit for Alice?
Yeah, you can get it cheap. Has a leaky air hose.
Wait. Remley, will you stop already? I'm in enough trouble. Now, look, I want to get something nice for Alice. Something that costs about $200, but I only got about $50. I wonder who I could borrow $150 from.
If you need $150 for Alice's present, there's only one person to borrow it from.
Who?
Alice.
Don't be ridiculous. I couldn't ask Alice to give me money to buy her own present. That'd be a terrible thing to do. Besides, I did that last year.
Hey, Curly, I got an idea. Don't tell her it's for her present. Tell her it's for a good cause.
What good cause?
Tell her you want to buy me an operation for Christmas.
An opera? Yeah, I could tell her you got a cork growing in your throat. You know something? She might go for that operation, Gag.
Yeah, of course she will. She won't turn it down if she thinks my life's at stake.
I'm not so sure. But it's worth a try. Come on, we'll go in and ask her. Now, look, Remley, let me do the talking. You just act unhealthy.
Right.
Oh, Alice, I want to talk to you about Frankie. Oh, there you are.
What about him?
Honey, I got bad news for you. Frankie needs an operation.
An operation? Oh, Frankie, are you sick? Frankie, that's a very bad cough.
Well, I'm sorry you don't like it. I didn't have time to rehearse.
Alice, don't pay any attention to him. He's just trying to laugh it off. Now, don't be silly, honey. This is really serious. This boy needs an operation, and he needs the best surgeon that money can buy. And unless you loan him the money, there's no telling what'll happen to him. Will you do it, Alice?
Oh, of course I will. Here's $1, Frankie. And don't forget to bring back the change.
$1? What kind of an operation can I get for $1?
Yeah, it cost him more than that to have the ring removed from his nose.
Who are you trying to kid with this operation gag? What do you need the money for?
All right, honey. I wanted to buy a Christmas present for my mother.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll be glad to let you have the money. What are you going to get her?
Well, what would you suggest I get for Mom?
How about a new wigwam?
It's my father that's got the Indian blood. And he never lived in a wigwam. His tribe are cliff dwellers. In fact, Dad still has a callus on his hip from carrying his scaling ladder. Now, you're going to lend me the money or not?
All right, I'll lend it to you.
Well, thanks, dear. And look, I want you to come along and pick out something nice for Mother. Something that you yourself would like.
Uh-huh. Excuse me, dear. I'll go get my hat. Oh, he's so sweet. I know he's going shopping for my present. And this is my chance to get that sterling silver set I want. I'll be right back, Phil.
Oh, okay, honey.
Hey, Ram.
I got an idea.
What?
While Alice is gone, why don't you sing?
Me sing? Well, Curly, you're the... No, you know, I fell in that trap once today. I'm going to give you a lead-in, too.
In that case, I'll have to do it without a lead-in. I'll get along. While I was walking down the beach one bright and sunny day, I saw a great big wooden box a-floating in the bay. I dragged it in and opened it up, but much to my surprise, ooh, I discovered right before my eyes, ooh, I discovered right before my eyes. I picked it up and ran to town as happy as a king. I took it to a friend of mine who'd buy most anything. But this is what he hollered at me as I walked in his shop. Oh, get out of here with that before I call the cop. Oh, get out of here with that before I call the cop. I turned around and got right out a-running for my life. And then I took it home with me to give it to my wife. But this is what she hollered at me as I walked in the door. Oh, get out of here with that, and don't come back no more. Oh, get out of here with that, and don't come back no more. I wandered all around the town until I chanced to meet a hobo who was looking for a handout on the street. He said he'd take most any old thing. He was a desperate man. But when I showed him he turned around and ran. Oh, when I showed him he turned around and ran. I wandered on for many years, a victim of my fate, until one day I came upon St. Peter at the gate. But when I tried to take it inside, he told me where to go. Oh, get out of here with that, and take it down below. Oh, get out of here with that, and take it down below. The moral of this story is, if you're out on the beach and you should see a great big box and it's within your reach, don't ever stop and open it up. That's my advice to you, 'cause you'll never get rid of them, no matter what you do. No, you'll never get rid of them, no matter what you do. Hey, Alice, for goodness sakes, why did you bring me in this place? This is the swankiest store in town.
I know, dear. But after all, nothing is too good for my mother-in-law.
I don't get it. Last year, she sent Mom a pair of celluloid dress shields with an eye shade to match.
Oh, Phil, look. Here's just the thing for your mother.
Can I enjoy that line a minute without you? I was trying to be so proper. Celluloid, I was going to. Well, go ahead, honey.
Well, here's just the thing for your mother. A set of sterling silver flatware, and it's only $500.
Wait a minute. $500? Look, Alice, I want to get a nice present, but
Then we'll get the silver set. Oh, here comes the saleswoman. Ask her about it, Phil.
All right. Pardon me, miss.
How do you do? What can I do for you, sir?
My wife tells me I'm interested in some sterling silver flatware.
Oh, certainly. Here's just the set for you. And I can let you have it for the ridiculously low price of $2,200.
You're going to have to get some sleep, Tallulah. Look, what makes you think I'm going to spend that kind of money?
Oh, I can tell by looking at you that you're not interested in anything cheap. Obviously, you're a man of breeding and culture and accustomed to nothing but the finer things in life.
You're so right. And I can see that you, too, are a person of breeding. I imagine you sit a polo pony exquisitely. You, too, are of the social register, I presume.
But of course. You see, I belong to the junior league.
What's your batting average, dear? Would you care to hit a few fungos or some hot ground?
Frankie, please.
I'd love to see your hook slide into third.
All right.
Now, look, miss, I want you to show us that $500 set you have there. You see, it's for my husband's mother.
Now, wait a minute, Alice. I don't want to spend $500 for something like this. It ain't practical.
What do you mean it ain't practical? Why, surely your mother uses knives and forks at the dinner table?
Well, Mother does. But Father's a finger man. You see, being a cliff dweller, he never had an occasion
Don't
to use
explain it to me. See, I think you ought to buy this set. Oh, you won't regret it, sir. It has everything you need, including these lovely artichoke forks.
Oh! Aren't they delightful? That's the one thing that Daddy will use.
Really?
Oh, yes. He wouldn't think of eating buffalo meat with anything but an artichoke. It's a pride thing, you know. Look, thanks a lot, lady. We may be back. Will you get out of here? Come on, Alice.
Oh, Phil, why don't you stay here and think about the silver set? Meantime, I'll shop for your present. See you later, boy.
Yeah, so long, honey. Hey, Frankie.
What's the matter?
Don't you understand? I ain't kidding, Alice. She knows I'm shopping for her present. And I'd love to get her that silver set, but... Oh, Remley, I can't afford to spend $500 for it.
Could you afford it if it cost $8.50?
It's our friend Grogan.
Well, so it is. Hiya, Scarface. When'd you get out?
I ain't been in. I ain't never gonna be in again.
You mean you're now in a legitimate business?
My present racket is open and above board. Rodney Grogan has become a philanthropist. For the holiday season, I'm helping people get their Christmas gifts.
Well, now, there's a nice thought. Mm-hmm. What's the name of your philanthropic organization?
The Yuletide Shoplifting Service.
Well, what's philanthropic about a shoplifting service?
You don't see no further than your nose, do you? I'll explain it to you. You see, some poor schlump, he sees a gift, see, that he wants for a loved one. Someone like maybe his child or his mother or his parole officer.
Or maybe even his old cellmate.
You're getting the idea. Yeah. Now, if you can't afford something, you see, then I heist it for you.
I imagine you help a lot of people this way.
Well, that's the least that I can do for my fellow human beings. My shoplifting service, you see, it also saves the department stores a lot of money.
How?
They don't need no salespeople.
Hey, Grogan, you're not in a very nice business.
Why, what are you talking about? I bring happiness into the lives of little people. Take Twitchy Lewis, for instance. I'll show you. This guy wanted something for his mother, see, something that was feminine yet practical. But he couldn't afford what he wanted, so I heisted it for him.
And it made his mother happy?
Happy? Oh, yeah. You should have seen the expression on that little old lady's face when she unwrapped that Colt 45.
Well, what's feminine about a revolver?
It had a pile handle.
Oh.
But then, of course, my biggest kick is getting gifts for kids.
You shoplift for kids, too?
Oh, yeah, sure, certainly. Should have seen the toy I got for my little nephew.
Yeah?
He wanted a train for his birthday, see? So I went out and I lifted one for the little fella. The toughest job I ever did.
Why was it so tough?
Well, I got him the chief that runs between here and Chicago.
Hey, I'm glad we ran into you, Grog. You can help Curly.
How?
Well, you see that silver set on the counter there? He wants it for his wife, but he can't afford it.
Now, wait a minute, Remley. Hold it. I don't want nothing shoplifted. Come on, Remley. Let's walk around the store and look for something somewhere else. Look, thank you. See you later, Grogan.
Yeah. Swell guy, that Harris. He's honest, but nice. I'm going to help him. If he can't afford that set for his wife, well, I'll get it for him. See, now there's a dozen pieces to that silver set, and fortunately, I am wearing my plaid overcoat with the 12 inside pockets. While I'm at it, I'll throw in that tea set, too, and now I'll get to work. Harris, I've been looking for you. Did you find a present for your wife yet?
No, and I've been looking all over the store, Grog.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll bet you're tired.
Yeah,
huh?
I am. I'm really tired.
Well, that's because you got a chill. So, here, you take my overcoat.
No, I don't need an overcoat. I ain't got no chill.
Don't argue. When I say you got a chill, you got a chill. Put it on. Ah, there you are. Gee, that plaid looks great on you. Well, so long, Harris, and a Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, same to you, Grogan, but I don't really need this coat. Oh, well. Hey, that Grogan, he's a nice guy to think of my health, huh?
Yeah. Come on, let's find Alice. Curly, come on, don't just stand there.
I can't move. The coat's too heavy. I wonder what he's got in this thing, anyway.
Hold still. I'll look at the inside label. Hey, Grogan must be doing all right.
Why?
This coat's got a sterling silver lining.
Silver? Oh, no, Grogan lifted that silver.
Hey, wasn't it nice of him to heist this stuff
Not
for
so
you?
loud, Remley. Quiet. Shh. If I get caught with this thing, I'll go to jail.
Don't get excited, Curly. All you have to do is sneak it back on the counter.
Yeah, after all, nobody knows I got the stuff on me.
Not yet, but they're gonna know.
How are they gonna know?
'Cause I'm gonna tell them!
Julius, did you overhear what we said?
No, but I'm gonna tell the cops anyway.
Just a minute. Excuse me a minute, kid. Hey, Curly, here's your chance to get rid of the coat.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I ran into that. Julius, I just brought your Christmas present. This beautiful plaid overcoat. Here you are, kid. Put it on.
Wait a minute. It's too big for me.
Hold still. There you are. Perfect fit, ain't it, Hart?
You said it, Schaffner.
How does Marx like it? This thing is a mile too big on me. The sleeves hang down to the floor.
A perfect fit for your ape-like arms.
Yeah, go on. Take a few steps in it, Jocko. Walk around a little. Let me see you operate.
Okay. And this thing's too heavy. I can't move.
Well, I'll give you a shove and get you started. There.
Hey, what's causing this metallic noise when I walk?
You've got too much iron in your blood. Hey, keep walking, kid. We'll see you around sometime. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, kid.
Come back here, you guys. I don't want this car. Ah, nuts. I guess I'm stuck with it. Unless I can palm it off on somebody else. Maybe I can even sell it to somebody. There's a lot of Christmas shoppers in the store who might like a plaid overcoat.
Hey, Curly, I wonder where Alice is. We looked all over the store.
Well, she had a lot of Christmas shopping to do. She's busy. Maybe she... Uh-oh, there she comes now. Hi, kid.
Sorry I kept you boys waiting, but I ran into Julius and...
Never mind him. Did you find a present for my mother?
No, dear, but I found a lovely gift for you.
Yeah? What is it?
This beautiful plaid overcoat. Here.
Oh, no, Remley Jingle Jangle's back with us. Hey, Alice, take that away. I don't want that.
But, Phil, it's a stunning coat. And Julius said it's very warm.
Warm? This darn thing is hot now. Drop it and let's get out of here.
Phil, here's a visitor for you.
Hey, it's Bob McLaughlin of Club Time, one of America's favorite disc jockeys. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Phil. Thank you very much, Phil. About a year ago, I had the pleasure of presenting you with an award from the Disc Jockeys of America for your outstanding rendition of the Old Master Painter. But today, I have an even more pleasant job. You know, it's the fondest dream of every recording star to one day make a record that tops the 1 million copy mark, and you've done it in less than 6 weeks. So on behalf of the RCA Victor Company and with the thanks of the nation's disc jockeys for the pleasure of your songs, we present you with this gold record.
Now Hedda Hopper, then Kirk Douglas on Theater Guild on NBC.
Transcribed. From Hollywood, NBC brings you Hedda Hopper. Hedda Hopper, who daily reports to 30 million readers in America and 8 foreign countries, now reports to you on the air. Here is Hedda Hopper's Hollywood, from a desk by the window looking right down on Hollywood and Vine.
Look over my shoulder while I write my column. We'll have news about famous people here in Hollywood and elsewhere. We'll have special music ranging from the Mitchell Choir Boys to Spike Jones, and personal visits with Raymond Massey and Irene Dunn. Okay, let's go. Here's some Hollywood stars who'll have a wonderful Christmas. Cary Grant and Betsy Drake start on the air next month in The Blandings, written by Nat Wolff and sponsored by TWA. Anne Sullivan was told by her doctor that she'll be able to resume her screen career in 1951. Marjorie Rambeau, for the first time in 5 years, walked around her hospital room on crutches and was told she would be able to walk without them very soon. Shelley Winters gets a month's vacation in New York with pay just to have fun. Farley Granger finishes his picture day before Christmas and joins her. Lou Costello claims the Santa Claus will cost him $30,000. He's invited 60 people to his home. They'll trim the tree, and at midnight he passes out the presents and gives away Fords and Lassies Pops, among other things, and he invited me, and I'm a-going. Our military men who have returned from Korea are saying in private that we've never been less prepared for war. The Navy is not in fighting shape. The men running our aircraft plants don't know what's expected of them. Our ground forces haven't been sufficiently trained, and our casualties in Korea have been appalling because there were no real facilities for medical aid. The other day, over a cup of tea, I had a visit with Irene Dunn. As everyone knows, she recently returned from London and the command performance opening of The Mudlark, the new 20th Century Fox picture in which she plays Queen Victoria. I know, Irene, everyone asks you a million questions about your trip. But you did have a wonderful time over there, didn't you?
Indeed I did. The people, meeting the king and queen, everything. Only I don't know whether it's Christmas or our reminiscing or the way the world is. But would you like to know the highlight of my trip, Hedda?
I certainly would.
Well, I'm not the least bit afraid of being corny. It was seeing the Statue of Liberty on my way home.
I wish more people these days would come right out and say it like that.
Well, for heaven's sake, why not? If ever there was a time it needed saying, it's now. With our ideals of freedom, tolerance, goodwill to men, America is, well...
Is good, but not perfect.
What did you say?
Something I heard you say once in the character of Mama, from the picture I Remember Mama. Don't you remember?
Well, I'm always making speeches. Oh, yes, of course I remember. I said, if anyone were to ask the Norwegian Mama about America today, she would answer something like this. America is good. It's not perfect. Not yet. Is a word tolerance. It's not good, this word tolerance. Our Lord said we must love our neighbor, not just tolerate him. And when we have learned to love our neighbor as ourselves, no matter where he come from, then America is perfect.
Well, Irene, you have done your share as an ambassadress of goodwill. The honor bestowed upon you by the University of Notre Dame, the Latari Medal, the award from the Conference of Christians and Jews.
Yes, they were great honors, Hedda. But that's all over, and we haven't much time for reminiscing these days.
But wait a minute, Irene. There's one more thing in my memory department. I hope you haven't forgotten. That was around Christmas time, too, when you sang with the Mitchell Choir Boys.
Sang? Oh, Hedda, I haven't done much singing for years.
In Love Affair with Charles Boyer.
Well, aren't you sweet? That was a long time ago.
Well, I'm willing to bet it's a favorite memory of lots of people.
Wishing will make it so. That was the song.
Well, won't you make it so?
The curtain of night will part if you are certain within your heart. So if you wish long enough, wish strong enough, you will come to know.
Thank you, Irene. Back in the office, I wrote this down. Irene Dunn has given us many songs and many, many outstanding characterizations. And there'll be a new portrait to add when Mudlark opens at the Rivoli Theater in New York on December 23rd. When one of Hollywood's best-loved actresses plays England's greatest queen. After Margaret Truman appeared with Tallulah Bankhead on The Big Show, her father Harry telephoned Tallulah and thanked her. I'll bet she'd rather have had a letter. Mrs. Robert Nathan has had more than her share of heartache. Her mother died a few months ago. Her son joins the Air Force in January. And her husband tells her he's in love with Clara May Burns of New York City. Kit Cornell's new play closes in Cleveland next week. John Steinbeck bought a home in New York for Elaine Scott, whom he'll marry December the 28th. Bert Lancaster, before making a record for the March of Dimes, took his young son, a polio victim, to have braces fitted to his legs. Clara Bow's been living quietly in Santa Monica for 3 months, working on the story of her life. The Fred Packard, she's J. Arthur Rank's daughter, are buying a ranch so they can have horses. It's time, said Rank, that my grandchildren learn to ride. The oldest is 4. No, we haven't halted martial aid to Great Britain. It's merely suspended. We're continuing to give money to rebuild her army and navy. And if their finances collapse again, we'll give direct aid in American dollars. I don't know whether I'm more sentimental than others, but old familiar tunes become my good friends. A classical melody I heard as a child or a sweet ballad I danced to as a young girl bring with them a flood of memories. That's why I've wanted for a long time to have a real set-to with a certain one-man musical demolition squad. The man who torpedoes my memories. Oh, Patsy, will you send our distinguished musical friend in?
With pleasure, Miss Hopper. He's been practicing out here with a machine gun.
Oh, no.
Oh, it only has blanks in it, Hedda.
Now, you put that thing down, Spike Jones.
I was just trying to figure out a beautiful finish for Goodnight, Sweetheart.
Oh, sure. Why let her suffer? Spike, that's exactly why you're here.
I know all about it.
Oh, sit down, Spike. It's a small office, but we try to make it homey.
Thank you. This is that rare opportunity a guy has to state his side of the case in your column. Well, here's mine. Isn't that beautiful?
Now, you can't finish me off that easy. You deliberately take good music and massacre it. So sit right down here and defend yourself. If there is any conceivable argument why you should.
Well, my arguments are right here, Hedda. Come on in, guys.
Oh, hell. What in the name of all... Going to be cramped in here, are you?
A couple of us can sit on the bookcase if you can sweep all the stuff off of the desk. Well, I'm sorry, Miss Hopper.
Thank you, Tallulah Bankhead. Now, what were you saying, Hedda?
Oh, this is what I meant. Taking a piece like Dance of the Hours and giving that the alarm clock treatment.
Well, Hedda, there's a good reason for everything I do. Take the lyrics of a song, for instance. They're important. So I try to make them clear to the public. Bring out their inner meaning. Now, you take Chloe. Nothing but confusion. All that swampland, fog, nightshades. So what do?
What do you do? I hate to think.
You see, now it's as clear as crystal.
Oh, I need help. Patsy, is Frank Worth anywhere around?
Right here, Hedda. Coming to the rescue. Hurry up, boys. Get in there.
Boys, Frank, no. My office is coming apart at the seams.
Plenty of room. Just open the window for the trombone.
Hey, now, look, this isn't fair. His orchestra's twice my size.
Now, you said it yourself, Jones. A musician can't argue without his band.
Hedda, you want something he can't louse up. Okay, boys. Hit it.
Now, listen to this.
A pretty girl is like a melody.
stop it. A pretty girl is like a melody. What possible connection can there be between a pneumatic drill and a pretty...
Well, I don't know what kind of a girl Frank has in mind, but my girl is a riveter at Lockheed.
And that little extra tap on the triangle, that's the rose she pinned on her overalls, I suppose.
Oh, no, Hedda, that's my sensitive nature, you know. First and last, I'm a musician. Frank, I've got another idea, and we better get going.
No, you don't. Stop it, both of you. Get out of here. I quit. I give up.
Hedda, I'd like to play a song straight.
Well...
The balance may not be perfect, but we are a little crowded in here, you know.
No, not really. The only thing that's missing in here is a choir.
Hey, glad you reminded me. I just happen to have the Mitchell Choir boys right outside. Come in, kids.
Oh, that does it. The whole choir and George Rock, too. All right, Georgie, you can sit on my lap.
Ready, everybody? All set? This is for Christmas, you know.
Silent night, holy night.
Good night, Georgie.
Good night, Mommy.
Did you have a nice Christmas?
Oh, yes, Mommy. Thank you, Mommy, for the teddy bear and the funny little farm with the bright red hair and the cowboy boots and a three-wheel bike. But here's what I'd really like. Mommy, won't you buy a baby brother or sister for me? Gosh, I'm awful lonely, being an only child. Golly gee. I heard you say you can't afford another, so I saved up $1.83 to give you and Father. If it isn't too much bother, please buy a baby sister or a baby brother, one or the other for me. I'll share my toys, I promise you. I'll let the little stranger do whatever it wants to do with them, whenever I am through with them. Please buy a boy or girl tonight, a real live doll to cuddle tight. A boy or a girl will be such fun. Next week you buy the other one.
Mommy, won't you buy a baby brother or sister for me? One that sparkles brightly.
Even one slightly used, yes, sirree. 'Cause lots of kids don't have a dad and mother. And they might like to join our family.
In case you should do one.
It don't have to be a new one. Just buy a baby sister
Or a baby brother.
One or the other for me.
Thanks, Spike, and the Mitchell Choir boys, too. Yes, we need your music, Spike. It lets us have so much fun with the classics. Mrs. Gregory Peck was appalled when she paid 45 cents postage on each card she sent to England. That's nothing. In the old days, Tom Mixer's cards cost $5 each. But that was in the days BT, before taxes. Rita Hayward's daughter, Rebecca, lives in Ireland while Mama tours the world. Rebecca's father, Orson Welles, occupies Dorothy DeFrass's villa in Rome while she's in America. Where there's a Welles, there's a way. They said it couldn't be done, but unification got its biggest test in Korea, and the Army, Navy, and Marines fought and worked side by side as a team. Joan Crawford will be taking care of her house and her children during the holidays. Her helpers all walked out. John Lund flies to New York to spend Christmas week in a dentist chair. Ruth Roman was married in Las Vegas last night to Mortimer Hall. What kind of entertainment do people like? How much real art will they buy? Well, it always seems to surprise some of our showmen when a picture like Laurence Olivier's Hamlet turns out to be such a success at the box office. Personally, I've always felt that the public wants a lot more of this sort of thing than it gets. Well, 3 weeks ago, I had a visit with Laurence Olivier and Vivian Lee just before they sailed for England, and I was glad to hear what they said on the same subject.
Well, Hedda, I don't think it's surprising that people should be intrigued by good play. At the Old Vic in London, we used to give matinees of Shakespeare especially for children.
And they loved it, even the parts they couldn't understand.
Shakespeare's always been a popular success. He always broke box office records. And so did the others who delivered real art instead of formula stuff. Real art, you know, whether it's Disney or Shakespeare, Fred Allen or a fine picture like Treasure of Sierra Madre, sticks to the ribs a lot longer than a diet of gingerbread and soda pop. Good art is good showmanship.
That's what they said, and I certainly agreed. Well, yesterday, I heard that someone else is showing the same faith in the taste of our public. A brand new company in New York is now recording classical plays in popular record album form. Not only Shakespeare, but others as well. The man who told me about it is a distinguished actor who's just arrived to star in the 20th century picture David and Bathsheba, Raymond Massey.
Head of the first album this company made is Shakespeare's The Tempest. That's the one I did for them. It'll be in the stores this week.
Why The Tempest, Ray? It's not as well known as Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, or...
Oh, Hedda, why start with something people already know? Besides, it's one of those things you hear a line from and recognize, but you just don't know the source.
Go on, tell me more.
Well, it's a play of poetry more than plot. I suppose some of the most beautiful poetry ever written.
Well, heaven knows we could use a little beauty these days.
Oh, forget the world. Dream a little. It's a story of enchantment. I played Prospero, a magician. Oh, Duke of Milan, if you want to be factual. That's what Prospero really is, or was, before he was double-crossed by his own family and tossed out. But now he's on an island, a magic island, and he's studied up on the black arts to a point where he has all the elves and spirits under his thumb, even Ariel.
Ariel, that's the tiny sprite, isn't it? The magic one.
Supernatural, or super nuisance sometimes, but I keep Ariel colored all right, my captive, because I need him to work my revenge. Oh, I'm quite a fellow. There's nothing I can't do with Prospero. Do you know I can even summon up a tempest? Yes, a tempest, to shipwreck those double crosses, the false king and the others who plotted against me. A tempest to shipwreck them on my island of enchantment, to put my enemies at my mercy. And it wasn't an easy job. But by the end of the play, and in the ways and words of magic, I finally did it. Ariel and I. Only what then? What revenge? How should they be punished? Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so when first I raised the tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same fashion as you gave in charge, just as you left them. All prisoners, sir, in the lion grove which weather thins yourselves. Cannot budge till you release. Your charm so strongly works them that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
And mine shall. Hast thou, which are but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions, and shall not myself, one of their kind, that relish all as sharply passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason against my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go, release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
Ye elves, of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, and ye that on the sands with prince's foot do chase the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back. You demi-puppets, that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the yew not bites. And you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azure vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. But this rough magic I here abjure. And when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end upon their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound I'll drown my book. Ariel, come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost ease my pains, let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, moody? What is't thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs on the bough, where the bee sucks their sunshine, in a cowslip bell I lie.
Why, that's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee, but yet thou shalt have freedom. So. Our revels now are ended. These our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherits shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep.
This week, an unusual letter came to my desk. Kenneth Law, a high school boy of Cincinnati, Ohio, wrote it. Listen to what he says. A group of high school boys like myself are trying to do a job. We want to help bring peace again to the world.
We're not old enough to fight for peace in the United Nations. We're just ordinary fellows. But we've hit on a plan. We want to put Christ back into Christmas. We want to make people realize Christmas is important because it's Christ's birthday, not just a holiday where we send cards and exchange presents. We thought maybe if we began putting Christ back into Christmas, men will put him back in their daily lives. And we believe if we can succeed in putting Christ back into Christmas and back again into our daily lives, peace again may descend upon this earth. Have we the power to make this boy's dream come true? We have. The man of Galilee hasn't been much in the news lately. He doesn't hold a seat in the United Nations. His teachings are drowned out by the hymns of hate emanating from the capitals of the world. But we can put him back into his rightful place. We, the people, can do it. We can do it by putting him back in our daily lives, as this boy suggests. And the rest will follow. Because no man who follows the teachings of Christ can veto peace in the world. So thank you and bless you, Kenneth. You have shown us the way, the only way.
And Hedda Hopper wants you to celebrate it with such wonderful people as Lum and Abner, Elsa Lanchester, Bing Crosby, and Charles Lawson. Not to mention Mickey Mouse, Pluto, Donald Duck, and a preview glimpse of Alice herself from the Wonderland of Walt Disney.
Good night, everybody.
And make a date for next Sunday for Hedda Hopper's Hollywood. From the ringside seat, the desk by the window looking right down on Hollywood and Vine.
Transcribed next Theater Guild with Kirk Douglas on NBC.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Joe McCrea in Tales of the Texas Rangers. Tonight, transcribed from Hollywood, another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McCrea as Ranger Jace Pearson. Texas, more than 260,000 square miles. And 50 men who make up the most famous and oldest law enforcement body in North America. Of the Texas Rangers come these stories based on fact. Only names, dates, and places are fictitious for obvious reasons. The events themselves are a matter of record. Case for tonight, the Cactus Pear.
It is 4 p.m. the afternoon of March 28, 1947. Robert Coates, a new hand on the Triangle Ranch, is repairing a fence on the southeast range. He stops as a rider approaches.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Howdy, Breck.
Well, howdy meet, Coates. Well, I see you finally got my job.
I got a job because there was one open. If you left it open, that's your worry, I reckon, not mine.
You've been making up to the old man trying to get me fired ever since you came into this country.
That ain't so and you know it. I've been looking for work, yeah. But you didn't get fired on my account. You got sacked because you can't leave a bottle alone.
Sounds like you're calling me a liar.
I ain't calling you anything. I'm just telling you. Now, how about clearing off?
You telling me to clear off this range? All right, I'll get. But before I do, I'm going to whip your tail, Coates.
You better not try it, Breck, because you ain't about to whip my tail.
Oh, wait,
Now, clear off, like I told you. Don't come back.
There's going to be no need for me to come back.
Put that shotgun down.
Get away from me. Get away. Here's the other barrel for good measure. All right, boys. Come on, get out. Get out.
The body of ranch hand Robert Coates was discovered by the owner of the ranch next day when he rode out to search for the missing rider. He summoned the sheriff, and the sheriff called for the assistance of a Texas Ranger. Ranger Jace Pearson was assigned to the case.
Say you spotted the buzzards this morning, Mr. Galt?
Yeah, and I found Coates. From the look of him, he must have been shot sometime yesterday. Thought I heard a shotgun yesterday afternoon. Should have rode out then.
Why didn't you?
Well, Sheriff, you know, we've been having a time with the coyotes and mountain cats lately. I just figured one of my hands must have spotted one and cut loose.
Coates was fixing to break in the fence, huh?
Yeah, that's right. I'd have known something was wrong when Coates didn't come back to the ranch last night.
Spot's just up ahead where my deputy's standing.
Yeah, I can see the body now. Anybody been stealing cattle around here lately, Sheriff?
Oh, a few head now and then, Jace. Nothing big. Coates might have run into somebody doing it, though.
Might have.
Here we are. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Howdy, Sheriff.
Hi there. Yeah. Tie the horses off the fence here. I don't want them tramping around near the body.
Good idea.
Coates with you a long time, Mr. Galt?
No, as you know. Hired him on less than a week ago.
He was new around here, Jace. Only been here about a month, all told.
Ever say where he came from?
Yep, over around Marfa.
Hit with both barrels, Jace. Once through the stomach, once through the head.
Yeah. I was on the ground when the second charge hit him, though. Look, some of the shot clipped the grass. Killer's horse stopped here, too.
Looks like.
Coates must have had a fist fight with the man who killed him.
How do you figure that, Jace?
A little dried blood on the grass here. Scuffle marks and some of the blades pressed down as though somebody'd been lying here.
Coates was shot, though. Might be his blood, you know.
No. With his wounds, he was killed instantly. He didn't move 15 feet and then back again after getting blasted like that. Come on.
Yeah, what you looking for?
Horse moved off this way. Prince mixed right in with some of your herd. They was grazing around here and then took off mighty sudden. You can see here where they dug in to get started?
Yeah, that could mean a cattle thief, all right, chasing the stock, Jace.
We'll find out. Let's get back to the horses and follow this trail. All right. This is far enough. Ooh, Charlie.
Hold up.
Whoever it was, he wasn't trying to steal cattle. He was following a herd track so the trail of his horse wouldn't stand out clear.
I don't see how you can tell that.
Herd moved uprange toward the mesa. Anybody stealing them would have been driving them to the south fence where the state road is. Have to get them to a truck to get them away.
Yeah, but what made them run then, Jace?
A shotgun must have stampeded them. If they'd been driven, some would have left marks where they cut out to get away from the rider. And the rider would have left tracks cutting after him.
I see what you mean. But shouldn't we keep on trailing them, though?
Yeah, but not this way. He was headed for rocky ground near the mesa, trying to lose anybody who might follow him. He's smart.
I don't get your plan.
Well, he was careful leaving here after he killed a man. He mightn't have been so careful riding in before he killed. We'll backtrack the trail he took getting here. It might tell us where he came from.
That makes sense, Jace. Let's go.
Up, boy. Ranger, can I have the body picked up by the funeral house now?
Yeah. Even an autopsy isn't going to tell us much.
Oh? I thought you could tell a lot from the shot that killed somebody. That ballistic stuff.
Not so much with a shotgun. Barrels are smooth bore. Don't leave rifle marks, but... Hey, hold it.
What'd you find, Ranger?
These. Empty 16-gauge shotgun shells. Killer might have ejected him here to reload his shotgun in case he ran into trouble.
Yeah? Can you tell anything with those?
If we find the gun they came from, we might be able to match the way the hammer hits the shell.
Yeah. If we find the shotgun. Every rancher and cowpoke in the county must have one.
The sheriff and I backtracked on the approach the killer had used to get to the Triangle Ranch owned by Galt, but we came to a dead end.
Well, Jace, guess this is as far as we go. Can't follow them on pavement or the gravel road shoulder.
Rode out from town. Too bad. I was hoping he'd come from a ranch someplace. Would have narrowed us down to one spot.
Not much we can do now, except go around examining shotguns.
One other thing first. A couple of deep tracks in that ditch off the road. Must have had rain here recently.
Yeah, day before yesterday.
That's why he left such a clear print there yesterday, then. I want to get a kit from my radio car and drive back here.
What for?
Take a couple of photographs of that print. Make a plaster impression of it. Help us to identify the horse, if we find him. We took the cast and headed for town. To check every horse in the territory would have been impossible, so I had to gamble on a shortcut.
Howdy, Ranger. Sheriff.
Howdy. Hey, mind dropping that hammer a minute and taking a look at this?
Sure thing. Yeah, what is it?
Plaster cast. Shoe print of a left hind hoof.
You remember making a shoe like this, Ed?
Common plate, sir. It was caulked or something I might remember, but I don't know.
I know it's a tough one, but all shoes are a little different. Wear in different places. Hoofs have to be fitted for slightly different shapes.
That's true, all right. If I come across that shoe now, after seeing the cast, I might recognize it.
Good. I'm going to leave this cast here. If anybody brings in a horse to be shod, and the left hind hoof looks like the cast, don't touch it until you call us.
You're right glad to have. Keep my eyes open.
Any other blacksmiths around here, Sheriff?
Oh, not for over 50 miles. We going looking for that gun now?
You start on it. I'm going to pay another visit to the Triangle Ranch. I want to talk with Mr. Galt again.
Finish here in a minute, Ranger. Hey, Joe. Yeah? Run on the rest of the irrigation pumps, will you?
Okay.
That's fine. Good. What was it you wanted to know?
I asked you if Coot seemed nervous. Like he'd been running away from something, or somebody he was afraid might catch up with him.
No, I can't say he did. All he was anxious about was finding a job. Seemed like good workers, so when I had an opening, I took him on regular.
Oh. One of your hands leave?
No. You see, I had to fire a pope named Harvey Breck.
Fired him, huh? Why?
Drinking, making trouble in the bunkhouse, not doing his work.
Did this Breck know Coots?
No, just been seeing him around.
How did Breck take it when you told him he was fired?
Well, he's kind of drunk. Cussed me out a little.
Is that all?
Yep. They paid him off, give him an extra month like I do with any man I have to let go. He seemed all right after that.
You know where this Breck is living now?
I heard he's bunked up in one of them deserted adobe huts by the old quicksilver mine. The road's washed out, though. All the huts are empty since mine stopped operating. Why? You going to see him?
I sure intend to. I went back through town, picked up the sheriff. We rode our horses out to the abandoned mine.
I've checked 100 guns today, Chase. Every tough or near tough I could think of.
No good, though, huh?
No hammer marks like the one we're looking for.
You fire the guns to get a test shell for comparison?
Sure. But I swear none of them was the gun we want. I kept the most likely ones and labeled them for you, though.
Good. You can add one more when we test Breck's gun.
And here the shacks now. Whoa, boy.
Ooh, charcoal.
Look at that one. Little smoke's coming up the chimney. There's Breck. Better coming.
You fellas looking for...
Oh. Howdy, Sheriff. Howdy, Breck. Ranger wants a few words with you.
Okay. Mind if we come inside? All right. Reckon you know that somebody killed the man who took your place over at the Triangle Ranch.
Yeah, so I heard.
Happened Tuesday afternoon. Where were you?
I was right here. Anybody who says I wasn't is a liar.
Nobody said anything yet. Where's your shotgun?
I don't have a gun.
You don't, huh? And where's the gun you cleaned not long ago?
I didn't click.
Don't tell me you didn't. This oily rag in the corner says you did. This rag was used for cleaning the gun and nothing else.
Better get the gun, Breck. We want to see it.
It's under the bunk.
.16 gauge double barrel.
Yeah, loaded too. Hey, let me have it a minute. Let's match these with the shells you've been carrying, Sheriff.
Shut up, Breck.
Twins, all right, Sheriff.
No doubt about these, Matson.
Breck, we found these shells on the Triangle Ranch. Hammer marks match yours, and Coots was killed with a shotgun.
Not that gun. Sure, you found shells from it on the Triangle Ranch because I worked on the Triangle Ranch, remember? You get laughed out of court with evidence like that. I fired 100 shots out there. At coyotes.
You saw he could hold, Chase.
Yeah, maybe not. Because there's one other thing, Breck. We're all going to take a ride into town after I check the shoes on your horse.
Now, that's real interesting, Ranger. Because if we're riding into town, you'll be packing me behind you. I don't own a horse.
You are listening to Tales of the Texas Rangers, starring Joel McRae as Ranger Jace Pearson. Now we continue with tonight's case, The Cactus Pear, an authentic story from the files of the Texas Rangers.
Breck had us stopped, and he knew it. His story about the coyotes and the empty shotgun shells covered him, and we didn't even have enough to take him in. We left him and headed back for town.
If he is the one, Chase, we're going to have a time proving it. The gun would have made a strong case against anybody who hadn't worked on the ranch, but we can alibi that.
Yeah.
You got something on your mind, Chase. What is it?
He swore he hadn't been on the Triangle Ranch in a week since Galt fired him.
Yeah. We can't prove otherwise.
I don't know. If he did shoot at a coyote, it must have been before Galt fired him. That means those empty shells would have been lying out in the ground when it rained 2 days ago. The cardboard portion of the shells don't look like they'd been wet.
The sun could have dried them out after the rain, Chase.
Yeah, there's some metal on the shell, too. I'm going to send those shells through to the lab at Austin.
You think they'll be able to tell if they've been out in the rain or not?
Metal gets wet. There's got to be some oxidation. Lab will know whether there is or not. If there isn't, it'll mean the shells were fired in the past 2 days.
Yeah, but he'd still stick to her story, Chase. You know how a jury is with scientific evidence. A little leery of it sometimes.
I know we'll need more. I wasn't thinking of the shells as jury evidence. I was thinking of them as a time saver for us.
Oh.
If he's telling the truth, we'll have to start all over. But if he's lying, we'll have to trip him up. I sent the shells through to Austin, and while I waited for a report, I drove to Coot's old home at Marfa. He'd been well liked there. No reason for anybody to follow him and kill him. It was a routine check, and on the way back I got my report from Austin.
KTXA to Unit 10.
Unit 10 to KTXA. Go ahead.
Have report from Austin Lab on exhibits submitted by Unit 10 for examination.
Ready for it.
Lab report, slight oxidation probably caused by brief exposure to normal night moisture.
No evidence that shells were thoroughly soaked, though.
No indication of such exposure in lab report.
10-4, Unit 10 clear.
KTXA open.
I drove back south as hard as I could. When I got near the Quicksilver mine, I took charcoal out of the trailer and rode onto the shack Breck had been using to make sure he was still around. Oh, boy. Oh, charcoal. Breck, open up. I want to talk to you.
All right, what do you want this time?
I just want to make sure you're still around, that's all.
Well, you see me, don't you?
Yeah. I see something else, too. It's like you've been packing a few things in there.
That's my business, not yours.
I'll make it my business if you try to leave this county.
Now, look, Ranger, you've got nothing on me. You'd have taken me in before. If I want to move out of here, I reckon I can move.
You try it. You'll hit the county jail so fast it won't even give your spurs time to rattle.
Yeah, you're talking big, but you ain't got a charge to hold me on. There ain't no law against shooting coyotes.
No, but there's a law against moving into a shack without the owner's permission. The mining company give you the right to live here?
Yeah.
It isn't going to be hard to check on.
All right, then, Ranger, go back to town and check. Because until you do and get a warrant, you got no right in here. Have you?
Okay, Breck. I'll be back. And you better be here. I got back to town as fast as I could. I had to have a minor charge to hold him on. As I pulled up to the sheriff's office, I found out I wasn't going to need it.
Stay in the car, Chase.
Why? What's up?
You got here just in time. We're just heading for my car. Let's move.
Which way?
Right ahead. Blacksmith shop. He found the horse we've been looking for.
Oh, boy. Oh, there. Oh. Yeah. Here, Ranger, look. Just like the cast. Oh, boy. You see this nick in the left-hand shoe? It's nail bent a little. Same as the impression on the cast.
That's it, all right. Who owns him?
Ranger, you're probably going to eat me out for this, but he's mine.
Yours? You mean to say you couldn't recognize the shoe you fitted to one of your own horses?
Well, that's the trouble, Ranger. I didn't show him. I only bought him a month ago, and I was just going to put new plates on him for the first time now. That's how come I just spotted the shoe.
What were you doing out on the Triangle Ranch when Coots was killed?
But, Ranger, I wasn't out there.
Your horse was, last Tuesday.
But I wasn't riding him. I loaned him out.
You better tell us who you loaned him to.
Well, let Harvey Breck use him.
What?
Breck?
Well, when my wife can tell you, I'll call her.
You don't have to call her. Come on, Sheriff. Let's go. We stopped for the sheriff's horse, loaded him in the double trailer with charcoal, and then headed to the mine. We left the car at the washout, unloaded the horses, and rode to the adobe shack Breck was using.
You got enough to take him in now, Chase?
He's still here. He was packing to leave.
Look, he hasn't left yet. Here's the hut he was using. Back a light under the door.
We're on time, then. Not much to spare. The Cinchy figures to move out tonight.
He won't move now.
Stop here. Move, Charcoal. He isn't going to come easy, Sheriff. Watch out for that shotgun.
He wants gunplay. He can have it.
We'll know. He answers the door. All right, Breck. Open up.
We know you're in there, Breck. Now, come on.
He'll be waiting in there so he can nail us with that shotgun if we bust in.
We can wait out here for you, Breck.
Yeah. That light in there could keep us waiting all night if he's gone.
You mean it's a trick to slow us up?
We'll find out. Keep that door covered while I kick it in. It was empty. Breck had made his getaway. We went over the ground outside to get his direction. Led toward rugged country, and we followed as fast as we could on horseback, cutting back and forth to pick up his mark. Well, up into these hills, Sheriff. We made some time. It was easy to trail this far, and he's on foot.
Yeah, but we're going to be on foot, too, now.
Why?
He's headed for the border, Jase. Rio Grande's that way, but no horse can take this country between here and there. Oh, boy.
Oh, Charcoal. How far is it to the river?
40 miles of country the devil won't have, and we'll have to cover every inch of it on foot.
That's what he's doing. Come on, let's go. We must be close to him by... Hey, look, Sheriff.
That's him. Top of the ridge.
Get to cover under that ledge. Humble the horses so they can move off and graze later.
We're going to get to him. Long way up that ridge, and we'll be moving right into his sight.
You go around that way.
All right.
Crawl and loot whatever cover you can find. I'll go the other way and see if we can't circle in behind him. Move slowly. Inches at a time. Up the side of the treacherous slope. Took almost an hour. It was just what Breck wanted. All right. Don't move.
That's okay.
Yes, Sheriff.
Jase, he isn't here.
Of course he isn't. I should have figured his play.
The only reason we fired from up here was to trick us into giving him time.
Sure it was. He's ahead of us with a night to cover him. We don't have horses to give us an edge anymore. Let's see if we can pick up his trail.
But, Jase, if we're going into this, we're going to need water.
No time to go back for it now. We'll have to get it as we find it.
If we find it.
He's headed this way. Come on. We'll have to keep trail cutting. And it's going to be plenty rough. Like the sheriff said, country the devil wouldn't have. Breck was piling up a lead with every hour of the night.
We'll have to cover 2 miles to his one, Jase. Every time we lose the trail, he gains ground.
Can't be helped.
We get to the top of this ridge, and maybe the wrong one again, like the last two we climbed.
It's daylight in a couple of hours. We'll be able to spot his tracks. Better then, we can move faster.
Maybe we better rest until then.
Can't. I'm counting on him having to rest. That's the only time we can make up on him.
I reckon you're right, Jase. This will be another day and night of this without a wink, and no guarantee we're catching a bat. He may go any direction to make us cross him.
You want to rest a few hours while I go on ahead?
If you're going, I'm going.
Good. Come on.
If you only knew which...
Hold it, Sheriff.
What?
Scrub between the rocks. Here, throw your light on it.
All right.
Look. Barely grown in the earth between the rocks. Roots are down a little and exposed.
Yeah. Flash, too.
Grab the scrub to pull himself up.
Good. Means we aren't climbing this one for nothing this time.
No. We better keep on climbing.
Almost 24 hours. Getting dark again, Jimmy.
Yeah. More mountains ahead. Here, wait.
Moving?
No, cut over this way. Something on the ground by that cactus patch.
Yeah. Dug for water again, he's hit it, too. Still wet.
Dig a little. Get a drink for yourself.
Knows the country, all right. Never misses. Seems to know just where to dig if there's even a mouthful of water. What's it doing over there?
He ate here. Rested, too. Cactus Pear's been cut and skinned. Sun hasn't dried the skin on it yet. He's only an hour or so ahead now. His tracks show he's slowing down.
Still going fast enough to make that river sometime tonight, though.
We'll be there, too, then.
A little water running up in this hole now, Chase. You better take him out for him.
You first.
Thanks.
Then let's move.
As fast as we could.
But he was getting closer to the river.
Going towards Catalina Canyon, Chase. River's narrow there.
How far?
Less than half a mile away.
Gotta run then, Sheriff. Can you make it?
Try. Look. His shotgun.
Couldn't haul it any further. Lightening up to make his last run.
I think I heard something ahead.
Keep going. We heard him in front. And we broke through the brush at the river. He was just wading in.
Stop, Brack! I'll get him. Don't make me put a bullet in you, Brack. You ain't taking me. Oh, yes, I am. Let go, I'm over the border. You're still in the river. That's so I said. Get him.
Yeah. But you're going to have to help me. Drag him to shore.
Few more feet. You make it.
You needed just a few more seconds. Just about as long as it took to eat a cactus.
Harvey Breck was tried and convicted for the murder of Robert Coates. His sentence, 99 years.
And now, here again is the star of our show, Joel McCrea.
When the Allies invaded Normandy in World War II, they got an idea as to how far the fame of the Texas Rangers had spread. Both surrendering Nazis and liberated Free French said they knew the war was as good as over because the Texas Rangers had landed. Of course, it was the heroic American Ranger troops who made the landings. But nothing could convince the Nazi war prisoners that these were not the terrible Texans they'd heard about in many American legends. Good night, folks. See you same time next week.
Next week, Joel McCrea in another authentic reenactment of a case from the files of the Texas Rangers. Joel McCrea is currently seen starring in the MGM production Stars in My Crown. Tonight's cast included Tony Barrett, Wilms Herbert, Tom McKee, and Gerald Moore. This story was transcribed and adapted by Joel Murkoff, and the program was produced and directed by Stacy Keith. This is Hal Gibney speaking.
Three chimes mean good times on NBC. Monday means music on NBC. Tomorrow night, the voice of Firestone presents a selection of melodies in the Christmas spirit, with Metropolitan Opera star Jerome Hines as soloist. The NBC Symphony brings you another one-hour concert featuring works by Vivaldi and Beethoven under the baton of the brilliant young conductor Guido Cantelli. Stay tuned for the $64 question with more good times on NBC.
Hello, Yukon 28209. Yes, this is Candy Matson. Come on. on, Mellard. Stop pouting. Enjoy yourself. It's earlier than you think.
Monterey at Christmas time is delightful. Carmel is most enchanting. Salinas I enjoyed. But to haul us way over to some unexplored cannibal country is too much.
Did you hear that, Rembrandt? Cannibal country, he calls it.
Mad at me, boy. This may come as a shock, but San Juan Batista was founded by the Franciscan Fathers in 1797.
I remember it as though it were yesterday.
Don't let him bother you, Ducky. Mellard can't stand this wonderful air. He misses the gas fumes of the big city.
That's not that, Candy, but I do want to get back.
Relax, Max. You had a chance to take 2 days off, so make the most of them.
What's the name of this town again?
San Juan Batista. You'll love it, Mellard, dear, really. The mission, all the old buildings still standing.
Oh, you'll adore it. Honestly, you will.
Look, Rembrandt, old friend, I may like a thing, but I'll be hanged if I'll adore it.
As you will, minion.
How much farther, Candy?
We're just entering the town now. I thought we'd take a look at the mission first.
Okay. Hey, this is a cute little town at that.
That's my boy. I knew you'd warm up once I got you over here. You know, strictly from a police angle, you might be interested in knowing that Joaquin Murrieta visited here more than once. So did Three-Fingered Jack.
Where's my shooting iron? I'll get the varmints.
Take it easy, Hopalong. We're approaching the mission.
Oh, for golly's sakes. It's a big one.
Isn't it beautiful, Mellard? And don't you get a whole flood of thoughts going through your head when you look at it?
Ah.
With a little imagination, one could almost see the native Indians walking back and forth, coming into town for the evening vespers.
I only hope the mission's open.
Well, let's find out.
Good idea.
I think I see one of the fathers down the front, Candy. You can ask him.
Thank you, Ducky. Yes, let's go. Good afternoon, Father.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good afternoon, young lady.
Can you tell me if the mission is open this afternoon?
Oh, yes, most certainly. Do forgive me if I appear somewhat startled. I was picking these red berries, and I failed to hear you drive.
I'm sorry, Father.
Oh, that's quite all right. I fear my thoughts were wandering.
Pardon me, may I introduce Mr. Watson?
How do you do, Father?
And this gentleman is Lieutenant Mellard.
Oh, you see?
Lieutenant?
No, not military, Father. I'm with the San Francisco police.
The police?
No, Father, we're not here on business.
I was wondering. I thought for a moment that Father Philip might have reported me.
Reported you? For what, Father?
At lunchtime, I made a frightful mistake. By error, I ate his apple. Right under his very nose, too. Oh, pardon me. I'm Father Paulino.
I'm very happy to know you, Father. My name is Candy Matson.
I have some free time. I would be pleased to show you about. May I?
We'd be delighted, Father Paulino.
I think we can start with the yard. It gets dark so early this time of year.
Father Paulino. Father Paulino.
Why, it's Miguel Torres. What could be wrong?
Oh, Father Paulino, it is there.
Miguel, my son, what is it? What has happened?
Oh, the most awful thing you ever hear of. Vicente, he just shoot himself.
Merciful heaven. Is he badly hurt, Miguel?
Oh, I think he is dying, Father.
No. Oh, the poor boy. Where is he?
At his house.
Excuse me, Miss Matson. I must leave immediately.
Would my car be of any help, Father?
The car. Yes, thank you.
From Studio A in San Francisco's Radio City, the National Broadcasting Company presents Candy Matson, Yukon 28209.
Tragedy in the sleepy little California mission town of San Juan Batista. But it wasn't the first time. If you look around the side of the mission, you'll see that the place marks the mass grave of 12,000 Indians who died in a smallpox epidemic years ago. San Juan has seen knifings, too, and other shootings. It had lived a rowdy life in the dim years gone by, and obviously the rowdiness was still alive in a minor sort of fashion. We got in the car, and with Miguel directing us in broken English and Latin gestures, we made our way out on a dirt road about 3 miles outside of town near the granite quarry. We finally pulled up in front of a one-story wooden house that must have been built before the turn of the century. We went inside, and there was the prone form of a Mexican boy of about 21 or 2.
There he is, Father. Is he all right? I don't know, Miguel. I'll have to see.
He's gone, isn't he, Father?
Yes. May his soul dwell eternally in peace. He is dead. Miguel, listen to me. His flesh is cold, yes, but his soul still lives. Do you understand what I'm saying, my son?
Yes, Father Paulino.
Wait a moment. Mallard, look. Here where he was shot.
Well. If Vicente knocked himself off, he certainly did it the hard way.
You're not kidding.
Miss Matson, would you mind very much if we brought the body back in with us to the mission?
I'm afraid we can't, Father. Would you step over here? I have something to tell you.
Certainly, Miss Matson. You wear a look of concern. Is there something wrong?
I'm afraid there is, Father Paulino.
What do you mean?
Well, it looks very much as though this wasn't self-inflicted.
What? You don't mean that... Miss Matson, are you sure of what you're saying?
Reasonably so, Father. You see, a gun held at close range leaves powder marks. Vicente's wound is as clean as a whistle.
Well, I don't know what to say.
I'm sorry, Father, but that's why we can't remove the body. We'll have to call the sheriff's office in Hollister. Can you tell me where I can find a phone?
Yes, there's one at the mission. If you don't mind, I'll stay here. I have work to do.
Father Paulino was right. He had work to do. The ecclesiastical kind. And he did it in a simple and impressive way. San Juan Batista, with a population of a little over 600, and we run plop into a murder. Mallard said he'd go back to the mission and make the call, and left. 45 minutes later, the undersheriff of San Benito County drove up with Mallard. He asked the standard questions, but learned nothing. We went over the house with a fine-tooth comb, but we came up with a blank. There being nothing else to do at the moment, the men put the body in the sheriff's car, and he drove back to Hollister, and we returned to the mission.
Would you care to take a stroll about the gardens, Miss Matson? It's most peaceful. Makes a wonderful place for clear thinking.
Well, yes, Father, I'd love to. Mallard?
You go ahead, Candy. I promised the sheriff I'd take a look around town for him.
Oh, sure.
Want to come along with me, Rembrandt?
Yes, I believe I will, if you don't mind, Candy.
No, not at all.
So one thing before you go. You will be my guests for dinner, won't you?
That's most gracious of you, Father. What do you think, Candy?
I think it would be charming.
Okay. We'll see you back in a little while then.
This is a tragic thing, Miss Matson. Vicente was a splendid lad and a good Christian.
I know how you must feel, Father.
I never could understand why there must be things of this sort in the world. Not only between individuals, but countries and nations as well.
It is hard to comprehend. The more I try to reason, the more confused I become. About Vicente, Father, who do you suppose could have done it?
I don't know. I really don't.
How about Miguel?
What? Oh, no, Miss Matson. Why, he and Vicente were like brothers.
Brothers sometimes quarrel, you know.
Not in this case. Miguel is a good boy. Why, he works here at the mission.
You'll pardon me, Father, but in my business I find I have to be doubtful at times.
What is your business, Miss Matson?
I'm a private investigator, Father.
Oh, very curious.
Yes, I suppose it is, but in a sense, you're a policeman too, Father.
I?
Yes. You police the soul, don't you? Ride herd on the thoughts and actions of men?
Why, yes. I'd never thought of it that way before. Yes, in a sense, I suppose I do wear a badge. I wear the badge of righteousness, the star of God.
Father Paulino was a wonderful man. As we walked about the mission gardens, he spoke of many things, but in parallels, all connected in some way with the killing of poor Vicente. The time passed swiftly. I was so engrossed in listening to the kindly voice of the man, and before I knew it, Mallard and Rembrandt had returned, and it was time for dinner. Miguel did the cooking and waited on the table. The dinner was a masterpiece of simplicity, and if it hadn't been for the tragedy of the afternoon, I would have been enjoying a serenity I'd never known before. Did Vicente live out there all by himself, Father?
Yes, the house belonged to him. He's a descendant of one of the original families of San Juan. His great-great-great-grandfather owned one of the largest ranchos in California. It stretched from here to the Pacific Ocean.
That's a lot of property.
Indeed. You see, it was given to him by the King of Spain under one of the original Spanish land grants. I understand there still are some in existence.
Yes, I believe there are. But they've all been chopped up and sold in much smaller parcels.
Did Vicente work, Father?
Oh, yes, he was a good worker. Seasonally, in the artichoke fields and the lettuce fields. In the off-seasons, he did odd jobs about the town.
Speaking of town, Father, do you know a woman named Rose Taylor?
Why do you ask that?
Do you?
Yes. Why do you mention the name?
There's a little bar down the street.
Yes, I know. The frailties of mankind.
The fellow who runs the place says there's been talk about Vicente being kind of loco over the Taylor girl.
I'd heard something of the sort, too. I was going to speak to him about it on Sunday.
How long has she been here, Father?
She arrived about 2 months ago. I'm afraid she's been a disturbing influence on our little village ever since.
Did you talk to her, Mallard?
No.
Where does she live, Father?
In a small cottage over on 2nd and Polk Street.
I think we ought to take a little walk over there, don't you, Mallard?
Right as rain, Cupcake. I dropped by her place before dinner, but she wasn't in.
Oh, you know where it is, then?
Huh?
Good. Please don't think it's rude, Father, but it's something we have to follow through on.
I understand, Miss Matson.
We got up from the table and went outside the mission. We pulled our coats closely about us, and little jets of steam came from our mouths as we breathed the crisp evening air. We'd only gone about a dozen steps or so when we were stopped by a voice from behind.
Please, Senorita Matson, senor.
Huh?
Why, it's Miguel. What is it, Miguel? Something wrong?
I hear you talking inside. You are going over to see Senorita Taylor?
That's right.
Oh, please, no. The Senorita Taylor, she is a good girl. She would not to hurt anyone.
That's not what Father Paulino seems to think.
Oh, the good father, he does not know much about the outside. All his life he live in the mission. He is, how would you say, he's secluded.
The good father may be secluded, Miguel. But I have a strong hunch he knows more about what's going on around here than anyone in town.
Oh, but please, you believe me? Senorita Taylor, she is a good person.
Look, Miguel, you want to find out who killed Vicente, don't you?
Oh, she?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. Now, you be a good boy, Miguel, and don't get yourself all in the stew. We left Miguel and walked over a couple of blocks to 2nd and Polk Street. We found the cottage and saw a light in the front window. Mallard knocked. And what opened the door would have been a delight on any movie screen, if you like your beauty the hard way. Rose Taylor, it was obvious, could raise an awful lot of havoc with the local swains.
Something you wanted?
Yes, we'd like to talk to you for a moment, if you don't mind.
Yes, I do mind. I'm kind of busy.
I'm sorry, Miss Taylor, but you'll have to unbusy yourself. This is the police.
Police. Always the police. Why can't you let me alone?
You've been in trouble before?
Nothing serious.
Might be this time. You know a kid named Vicente?
Yeah, I heard what happened. These crazy kids. They have a yen for knifings and shootings.
Don't they just? This is Lieutenant Mallard. He tells me he was by here this afternoon and you weren't in.
That's right. I went into Salinas to do some shopping.
We can prove that, can we?
Absolutely.
Well, well, what have we here? A very cozy little .32 revolver. And also nicely cleaned and oiled. You always keep it this immaculate, Miss Taylor?
Certainly. When some character gets too much tequila under the belt, you don't know what's going to happen.
And the suitcase on the bed. Are you getting ready to go somewhere?
Wait. If you're trying to make out that I knocked off Vicente, you're just whistling Dixie in 4 flats. Look, a telegram. If you'll take the time and the courtesy to read it, you'll find that my sister in Los Angeles is a very sick girl. I was going down to spend a week or so with her. What is this, a convention hall? Come in.
Buenas noches, señorita.
Miguel, beat it. I'm busy.
I am sorry. I am sorry. I have a message for Señorita Matson and for you, Señor. Father Paulino sent me.
A message? What is it, Miguel?
The sheriff in Hollister just called on the telephone. He said to tell Señor Mallard that the bullet that killed Vicente was from a .32 caliber gun.
From San Francisco, the National Broadcasting Company is presenting Candy Matson, Yukon 28209.
Well, now, a .32 slug had killed Vicente, and Miss Taylor owned a .32 gun. It looked practically tailor-made. However, I've seen coincidences like this before that have gone up in thin smoke. Mallard plucked the rose and asked her to return to the mission. And right there, I got me a king-sized idea. I excused myself, went to the little bar, and from the owner, I found out where the local banker lived. 5 minutes later, I was in his living room talking to him, a gentleman named Banta.
Yes, it's terrible. I only heard about it a half hour ago. Vicente was a splendid lad.
That's what I've heard. Well, the reason I'm here, Mr. Banta, is to inquire about his financial status. Did he do any banking at all?
Oh, yes. Up to about 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Uh-oh. Can you tell me more?
Well, he had a savings account of approximately $2,800. Suddenly, he began making withdrawals. 200, 300 at a time. Yesterday, he made another withdrawal. He'd left a total of $400 in his account.
Well, what do you know about that?
Well, he said he was having trouble with his crops this year, the rain and all that.
Mm-hmm. What about Miguel Torres?
Now, that's a very strange thing. He had an account of $900. That's practically gone, too. I assumed he was helping his friend Vicente.
I smell a very well-shaped rodent, name of Taylor. Thanks, Mr. Banta. You've been a great help. Things seem to be taking shape. It looked like the old story of a no-good playing both ends against the middle. Both ends being Vicente and Miguel. The no-good? Rose Taylor. Scattered pieces of the puzzle were beginning to fall in place. Father Paulino. At first I couldn't believe it. And I wondered what his reaction would be. Next step, the bartender at the village pub. I walked in and caught him at a good time. The place was empty.
Good evening. What can I do for you?
A package of cigarettes, please.
Sure. How are these?
No, the others, if you will.
All right. There you are. Anything else?
Mm-hmm. Information.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
Miguel Torres and a kid named Vicente. Did they come in here often?
Who are you?
Private investigator. Here. My merit badge.
Yeah, that's a new one, the lady cop.
Ah, the world is ever changing, Buster. Now the answer.
Yeah, they used to come in about once a week, usually on Saturday nights.
Drink much?
Nah, good kids, both of them.
When were they in here last?
Well, let's see. Yeah, night before last.
Any arguments?
They're so soft-spoken, those kind of guys, it's hard to tell. But now that you mention it, I think there was a bit of a rhubarb going on.
Who was taking the lead?
Torres. I gather he was sort of griped about something. Not too loud, not much fire.
That's when it gets dangerous. And they weren't drunk?
Nope. And I can spot a lush at 40 paces. They each had a beer and left.
Thanks, mister. Here, buy yourself a cup of Christmas cheer.
Well, thank you.
Click, another piece of the puzzle in place. And all roads led right back to the mission. With the exception of the late Vicente, we had the full cast of characters front stage center. And a neat little bit of intrigue it was, too. As I drew near, the warm lights of the mission were streaking through the windows, contrasting greatly to the thoughts that were going around in my head. I walked in. Father Paulino was sitting over his desk, his head buried in his arms. Mallard was leaning back in a chair watching Rose Taylor, who in turn was smoking a cigarette and pacing the room. Rembrandt was reading a copy of the National Geographic. All heads snapped to me as I entered.
All right, Cupcake. Have fun?
Of sorts. What's new here?
Well, waiting for the sheriff from Hollister. He's going to book the Taylor lady on suspicion of murder. That way he can hold her.
I think I have somebody else for him to hold. Father Paulino?
Yes, Miss Matson.
I think you know what I'm about to say.
Yes. Yes, I think I do.
Where is he?
In the next room. I'll call him. Miguel, my son.
See, Father.
Come in here, please.
See?
Miss Matson wants to talk to you.
You're here in the mission now, Miguel. You're standing right under the cross. You can't lie. You killed Vicente, didn't you?
Yes.
Why?
I love her. I give her everything I have. My love, my heart, my money, everything. She tells me that she is mine, all mine. That we will be married. Right here in the mission by the good Father Paulino. Then last week, I find she is also making the pretend love to Vicente. I almost went crazy.
You told Vicente to stay away.
See, that is right. But last night, I stand across the street from Senorita Rose's house. Vicente was there. And as they say goodnight on the front porch, she kissed him and pat his cheek, just as she did to me.
And so you shot him this afternoon. With a .38. And when the sheriff called, you told us it was a .32, knowing that Rose also had a .32.
See, that is right. But you would never get me for it.
Mallard, Father, come on, don't let him get away.
There he goes, up on that wall.
Miguel, stop. You can't run away for the rest of your life.
I have no life, Father.
Miguel, watch out. You're going to... He's done for. Broken back. Is the pain bad, my son?
No, Father. Am I dying?
Yes, Miguel.
You see, I told you I had no life left. The bells, you hear them, Padre?
Yes. They're ringing, Miguel.
Time for the company. You would pray for me, Father Paulino?
Of course. Merciful Jesus, all-knowing, all-seeing, look down upon us this night, so close upon thine own natal day. This boy I'm holding in my arms, Miguel Torres, he has trespassed upon thy commandments. In thine infinite mercy, I seek his forgiveness.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Where is she, the tailor woman?
I'm right here, Father.
Look upon this boy I'm holding here, the second death in a matter of hours, and all because of you.
I know.
In the eyes of the law, you are guiltless. You pulled no trigger to cause the death of Vicente. Miguel fell off a wall to his death. But it was because of you.
I realize that now.
Do you really?
Yes, Father.
And perhaps in this hour of dark tragedy, something has been salvaged after all. This is the Yuletide, the anniversary of the birth of Christ. In his infinite wisdom, the Almighty is charitable. Rose Taylor, seek his forgiveness. Leave San Juan Batista. I'm sure Miguel and Vicente would want it that way. Start anew. Lead a penitent life. It is not too late. Tell me, child, do you recall Mary Magdalene?
I do, Father.
Need I say more?
No.
Someone help me with Miguel. We will carry him back to the chapel and finish the compliment there.
I will, Father.
Thank you. Yes.
There's a remarkable man, Candy.
More than you know, Miller, dear. Peace on earth, goodwill toward man and woman. In these troublesome times, there is a brilliant, shining example of what we have to hold on to.
You know, I wish there was a Father Paulino in every country of the world. We'd have more time for raising kids than for killing them.
My point exactly. Come on, Miller, dear. Let's get back to San Francisco. I have a special star to put on my Christmas tree tonight. For all the Father Paulinos that ever lived.
Listen again next week at this same time. Just dial
Candy Matson, Yukon 28209. And a very Merry Christmas to you all.
Featured in the story were Hal Burdick as Father Paulino, Lou Tobin as Miguel Torres, and Jane Bennett Carnell as Rose Taylor. Henry Leff is Lieutenant Ray Mallard, and Jack Thomas plays Rembrandt Watson. The program stars Natalie Masters as Candy and is written and directed by Monty Masters. Sound effects are created by Bill Brownell, and Eloise Rowan is heard at the organ. Our engineer was Clarence Stevens. The characters in this story were entirely fictitious. Any resemblance to actual people is purely coincidental. The program comes to you from San Francisco. This is Dudley Manlove speaking. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.